feel about Reacher.
I would love to feel him. Wouldn't you? Don't lie.
As with
Don't
many.
lie. Yes.
As with many.
I love Alan Richman. That's his name.
Richton.
I'm a fan of his as a human being. But no, I saw the first season. I loved it. It's just wholesome,
action movie
of the week.
So, the Christians are coming for our beloved Alan.
The Christians?
The Christians.
Not Christians.
The Christers.
The Christers!
The Christers are coming
for his perfect body.
For Alan.
Yes. Why? Why?
They're upset.
They're always upset.
But they're upset about Reacher.
How could you? How could you be upset about such an all-American hot guy?
They're upset that Reacher, as a character in the books and in the show, is morally ambiguous. Because Reacher does sometimes bad things to get to his greater good.
True, but are they talking about violence or are they talking about being nice to prostitutes?
They're talking about violence. They're being nice to the occasional homeless person in the show.
We can't have that.
Reacher's had more than his fair share of premarital sex in these 2 seasons.
How could you begrudge him?
I mean,
get that booty. No, he doesn't have much of a booty, but those thighs. Ooh.
And that dainty walk.
I know.
That ever so dainty little walk of his.
He's so graceful.
It's hilarious that a man that big is that dainty.
I know. It's very Looney Tunes.
He's like a doily. He is so fucking dainty when he walks up.
Yeah.
His little big foot. His little big foot. Foot. Big foot.
That's the only good thing to come out of that.
Shout out to Alexander Rogers for giving me Foot, the remix. Foot. But the Christers are coming after Alan because Reacher is morally ambiguous.
Yes.
He has premarital sex. And even though Alan Richton is very much on record as being a devout evangelical, and he doesn't push Christian values.
No, he pushes Christ's message. Love people, forgive them, don't judge them.
Yeah, and
he's actually spiritually thoughtful.
The Christers are pissed at him.
How dare you think? How dare you?
To which I say, leave Alan alone!
Yeah. Leave Reacher to us.
And in case you didn't know where you were, I am Samara.
And I'm Jeannie.
And we want you to leave Alan alone!
Yes.
And this is Talk Deadly to Me. Oh, Jeannie.
We're back.
We're back.
It was a long, lonely, cold winter, and now you've come to melt.
To mount murder.
To melt us with murder. So, and I'm ready.
I have got a story for you.
All right.
What do you know about Peter and Renette Bergna?
Bergna?
Bergna.
Can you spell that for me?
Bergna.
Bergna. That's nothing.
Oh, good.
Nothing at all.
Well, then I have a tale for you.
Yay.
So this story is going to start with an accident.
Ooh, right in the thick of it. All right.
On June 1st, 1998, Peter Bergna was driving home after picking up his wife, Lynette, from the airport after she had just come home from a 6-week trip to Italy.
Ooh. Is she from Italy? That name sounds
French. Her family, her maiden name is Riella.
Ooh.
And they are...
Riella.
Her family, I think, maybe second generation.
Okay.
Italian-American, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it later, but her grandfather started a dairy farm in Central California.
Oh, wow. Oh, dairy
in the 1920s. And then her parents expand on that farm.
Okay.
So that makes her and her brothers, I think, third generation.
Yes.
She's Italian enough that she has extended family in Italy, for real. I'm not talking about that random cousin that you found on
Yeah.
on Ancestry.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like these people knew your parents and knew your grandparents, type of thing. So yeah, Italian.
Cool.
The drive home from the airport in Reno to their posh home in the village of Incline. They live in a little place called Incline Village, Nevada.
Oh my god, that sounds so prefabricated and gated.
It's a very fancy suburb between Lake Tahoe and Reno.
Oh, beautiful. So the mountains. Like
right, so
Sierra
Reno...
Nevadas?
I think that's the mountain range that Incline Village is nestled in.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you can see Reno and Tahoe.
Oh, beautiful.
From where Incline Village is.
Mm-hmm.
Reno being the bigger city has the fancy airport, the big airport that takes international flights. But you can
jets.
You can get to Tahoe within probably less than an hour.
Oh, nice.
Like Reno, Tahoe, and Sacramento, respectively. Mm-hmm. You could get to either of those places in probably less than 3 hours.
Okay, yeah,
give or take.
All right, I know where we are now.
Yeah. So they were coming back home to Incline Village through the mountains to an area known as Slide Mountain.
What kind of slide are we talking about? Like mud slides?
So Slide
Rock
Mountain,
slides?
It is a mountain range, but it is also a mountain range that's known. It has some ski slopes. There's a ski resort nearby. So
I'm thinking like Tornado Alley. Don't take me
no, girl, no,
crazy.
This is the Nevada, the Northern Central California. No, this is not that. No. Slide Mountain.
So not literally. Okay.
Right. No, not literally.
Sliding down your skis, sliding down your butt.
Right. So there's a ski resort there.
Okay.
And
sounds like Splash Mountain. Slide Mountain.
Big Bear. Think Big Bear.
Got it.
Think Big Bear. It's not Big Bear, but think Big Bear.
Got it.
So there's a ski resort off Slide Mountain. Mm-hmm. There is areas where people that do hang gliding, parasailing, and that type of thing jump off the mountain range and
like base jumping?
Yeah, people do that kind of stuff near there too.
Mountain folk stuff.
Yeah, that
play
kind of shit.
outside.
Yes. Yeah, so it's that area.
An adventure area.
Yeah, and that's where they're driving through as they go home to Incline Village.
Cool.
The drive through Slide Mountain could be treacherous, but if you're used to it, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I equate driving through the Slide Mountain area with the handful of times I've driven through the Angeles National Forest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mountains.
Which is terrifying.
Sure, if you're not used to it, yeah. That's where I learned to drive through mountains.
I've driven through the Angeles National Forest, I'd probably say a half dozen times, and each time I've pissed everybody that's used to this off, because the speed limit says 45, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Fair.
And the people that are like behind me, they're used to zipping around this shit, like for shits and giggles, are like honking my horn because I'm not doing 300 miles an hour around these like tight mountainous. No, I'm not gonna fall into the forest below.
Fair. Because
that's what's there.
Yep. You hope those trees catch you, but don't count on them.
The trees will kill you just as much as the ground. What are you talking about? You hope they catch you.
Well, the ones on the side. I have gone off a cliff.
Well, there you have it. Like, trees ain't for catching, girl. Trees ain't for catching.
If you're going very fast, you're fucked. But if you are going the speed limit, if you are going slowly, like I went off a cliff because of ice.
That explains.
And so I went over the side and like bushes caught me, and I crawled out of my car, like literally it was vertical.
Oh my god.
Like on the side, so vertically on its side, if that makes sense.
I understand exactly what you mean. Yeah, you just kick the door open, climb out, and this is where we are.
I would have gone a lot, if I was going fast, oh my god, I would have been at the bottom of a ravine.
Yeah, see now. And that's why I drive so slow through the Angeles National Forest, and those people just have to just wait until there's an avoidance of an on collision and just go around it, because I'm not going any faster. Oh, no.
Safety first.
I piss off so many people.
They deserve it.
Well, no, because they want to just go around because they want me to go like 80-something miles an hour, just like,
well,
no.
they're dumb. Even though they're used to it, even though they're skilled at it, even though they know it, that's still fucking dumb because you could always have that like patch of like gravel or whatnot and just shoom out into the void.
Yeah, no. Not this little
like
black
an
duck.
asshole.
No sir, no ma'am.
Yeah. So it's a treacherous drive that these people are on. Is it at night?
They are, it is at night. It's a little after midnight. But they're used to it. They're used to it. There's really nobody out at this time of night, so they're just zipping.
It was a dark and stormy night. Was it a stormy night?
No.
Damn.
Clear.
Okay.
A clear night. Nothing should happen.
Right?
With people that know what they're doing around this. So as Peter and Renette made their way around a sharp curve, they crashed through a guardrail.
Oh, scary.
Peter was thrown from the truck, but Renette was not as lucky.
Okay.
He gets thrown out of the truck, and she is in the truck as it goes over the side of a cliff, end over end, into the blackness of whatever the fuck lives.
Ooh, that's awful.
It's a 700-foot cliff.
Yikes. Yeah, that's awful.
I don't know what lives at the bottom of 700-foot cliffs, but it ain't good.
Trolls.
Right, all of the things.
Horrible, horrible things.
Monsters, trolls, pumas, bobcats, coyotes.
Chupacabra.
All of the things.
Yes.
All of the things live at the
Bigfoot.
bottom of that. No, because we're not in the Pacific Northwest.
I don't know. It's pretty close. There might be some, like, warm weather.
I'll put it like this.
Dude, bro, Bigfoots.
Bigfoot can travel, but I bet you the cougars will get them before
You know what? Yeah.
Bigfoot.
I think you're right.
So all Peter can do as he's scrambling on the side of this cliff is watch his truck with his wife inside of it go in.
So it's not
over
a sheer
it.
cliff?
No, it's
More
we'll get there.
Okay.
If I explain too much, I'm giving too much.
Because that sounds pretty incredible to be thrown from a truck and clinging to the side.
We'll get
It's
there.
very Bugs Bunny.
We'll get there. So while Peter is flown from the truck, he slides a few hundred feet down this mountainside,
Ooh.
and he's able to catch himself by clinging onto some sort of tree root that's sticking out of the ground.
Okay. Wow.
Branch, root, whatever.
Yeah.
He catches on to a tree structure.
Mm-hmm.
And he's holding on to the tree thing with one arm for dear life, and he's able to fish through his pockets. Fish.
Yes.
To get his cell phone.
Handy.
And as he fishes for his cell phone,
Especially in 98.
he calls 911. I know we had flip phones, razor phones.
The razors were the Audis. This would have been a brick. A
True.
small brick.
True. Mini brick.
There were some flip ones, but it wasn't razor. It was
I just
it was
remember
like-
razors. I just have such fond memory. I wanted a razor phone so fucking bad.
same. But as soon as I could get one, we had moved on to new technology.
Yeah. I never had a razor phone because we moved on to
It was so quick too.
those itty bitty Samsungs
Yes,
that have
with
the
the
sliders
keyboards,
and the
yes.
sleeves, the keywords and the sliders and
Yep.
those.
Mhm.
I moved on to a different kind of brick.
Whole new world.
Yeah, it was a different kind of brick. After I got done coveting the razors, they were like, "Oh,
So
here."
these are well-to-do people if they have a cell phone in 98.
Yes, and he fished it out of his. He fished his brick
Yeah.
of varying size and
This is so
circumference.
lucky. Da, 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 da. I flew out of the truck.
Dun,
And
dun,
I
dun,
got
my phone, 911 here, we're calling you.
This is
911 here.
incredible.
Yes. He's calling 911 and he's screaming, he's crying so
Ooh.
much that the operator can barely make out what he's saying.
God! Ma'am!
It's a calamity. He is
Yes.
hysterical.
Oh, God.
He couldn't even give his name or where the accident had taken place or anything.
Just full-on hysteria.
Yeah.
Incomprehensible fright and hysteria.
It's like, Turns his phone. That's all he's got.
oh, my God.
That is all he's got
Action.
for you.
Yeah.
The 911 operator decided to play it safe because clearly this person is in
Yes.
distress. Because all she can get is, Cliff! Accident! Ah! That's it.
Wow. Wow.
So to play it safe, the 911 operator dispatches cops from both Reno and Lake Tahoe to converge in the middle of this, like, basically, if you two meet, you'll find this person along the way somehow.
Yes. Yeah.
So
there's not a lot of like exits and like
no,
it's a straight line.
Yeah, this area through Slide Mountain, where they live in Incline Village, is kind of in the middle. But you're picking somebody up at the airport in Reno, and you're heading towards Incline Village, which is kind of almost dead center-ish between Reno and Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
And at certain points of these mountains, you can see the lights from the cities of both. Mm-hmm. So, actually, if you get it in the right moment, it can be a lovely view.
No doubt. But you're gonna, if someone went through the guardrail, you are gonna find them.
Or not, because it is like a 700-foot and some change drop if you go over the side of the
But you'll see the broken guardrail, at least, I would think.
We'll get there. So eventually, the 911 operator is able to get Peter calm enough. This is a lot of...
Yeah.
So eventually, he gets calm enough to tell her that he was driving a blue Ford truck near the Slide Mountain area. Mm-hmm. So the cops are looking for the accident area. Peter is on the phone with 911. My back, my ankle, my neck, my back, my Netflix and my snacks. No, there was none of that. But my back hurts.
Yeah. He's stuck, he's scared, he's wounded.
Yes. And he screams, sliding down the hill. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. Because he's like on the side of the hill, hanging onto like a tree, almost at the precipice of going over the cliff.
Okay, drama.
Right. The truck is gone.
Yes.
The truck has slid down and it's over. Mm-hmm. But he's barely hanging on.
Yeah.
There's maybe 200 feet between him and the edge of this cliff as he's hanging on to this tree. And he's like, I don't know how much longer I can hang on. Where's my wife? Redneck! Imagine a fainting goat, right? Or those goats that just scream constantly. Goat. Yeah, like imagine that. That's what's happening here.
Okay.
So as the cops are driving up the mountain from either side, they're looking for the accident. Mm-hmm. 911 also sent paramedics out because he's screaming about his back. So that could be a possible hardcore injury.
Yes.
He's talking about a woman that's still in the truck. So they're worried that somebody could be paralyzed. Like there's a lot of really heinous, evil, hardcore shit that could be going on right here. And Peter, who is still beyond hysterics, as he's screaming that the truck wouldn't stop, and he's sobbing, and he's screaming his wife's name into the void.
Yes.
Peter finally was able to compose himself and told the 911 operator his cell phone, which is useful to help the two groups of cops to try to pinpoint where he's at, as well as the paramedics. Peter sounded like he was going to hyperventilate because he's just doing a lot of
Yeah.
So the 911 operator is trying to calm him down.
Yeah.
Woosah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And he's screaming about how he's been thrown from the truck. His wife is still in the truck. It's all over the place. Mm-hmm. So the 911 operator is like, all right, we got two groups of cops coming up either side of the mountain.
Yeah.
Towards...
We're going to get you in a pincer move.
Where we think you are. Mm-hmm. Tell me when you hear lights or sirens. Mm-hmm. This is a 4-lane highway at best. 2 lanes up.
Yeah.
2 lanes back. Mm-hmm. So at some point, you're going to hear something.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of places that you can go.
Yeah.
They also had a medical chopper out in the area with the lights on and looking through the whole valley trying to find him. It would take over 30 minutes for Peter to tell 911 that they should look for the guardrail with the giant hole in it.
I would feel like you don't need to be told that.
It took some time.
But it's weird that he would wait so long but I mean that's the first sign I would look for. I would be investigating every hole.
And he said that he went through the guardrail when he was going through a curve.
Okay.
Peter kept complaining about his ankle and his back and how the top of his head hurt.
Oh, new ailments.
But he was able to tell 911 that he had crashed near the opening of a ski resort near Slide Mountain.
Okay.
But now Peter was saying, at first when he's like, I'm over by Slide Mountain, I think I hear sirens, I think I hear the chopper. But then after 30 minutes, like, no, I don't hear anything. Yeah, I don't, nothing. Nobody's here. But then he hears them, but then he doesn't. But then he hears them, and then he doesn't.
Weird. And no weird weather.
No, it's actually a pretty clear night. All in all, it's going to take them about 30 minutes, close to an hour, to find Peter.
Oh, wow.
And through all of this, he's kind of going back and forth. I hear the sirens, I don't hear the sirens. Mm-hmm. I hear nothing, I think I hear something. Through all of that. And the cops and the 911 operators are getting frustrated because from where they sit, from where they're driving, where they're pinging his phone number from now, they should be right on top of him.
Yeah.
He should be here. Even if he went over the side of a thing, they should be on top of the place that he went over. But yet he's saying he can't see them, he can't
Have they
hear them.
Back any?
There's no doubling back. It's one way up, one way.
And they've met each other.
Right. So they're getting close to meeting in the center of where he should be. Based on the description that he's given, where they're pinging his phone number and all of the technology, they should be on top of him. Yeah. They're not expecting him to be on top of the road. No. They're expecting him to be down the hill. Yeah. But he should be in an area where he can say, I see lights, I hear sirens. Yeah. And they're frustrated because all of their tools are saying we're on top of this guy. Yeah. But he's saying that he can't hear us or see us for well over an hour. But eventually they find him. So it's eventually he's like, I hear them. Oh God. So he was near a road by the ski resort part of Slide Mountain. But it would be the rescue chopper that would first lay eyes on Peter as he clung to the side of this hill with one arm laying on his tummy on some branch tree root thing. Okay. Phone on one hand, laying on his belly like, ah! 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 Peter was rescued from the side of Slide Mountain by a medical chopper. When he was found, Peter had a strong pulse, even though he cried and screamed for his wife, Renette. Yes. But there were no tears. Ooh. And as Peter was being airlifted to safety, he screamed at the medical people that he was thrown out of the truck and that his wife was still trapped at the bottom of the hill. You have to do something!
I am very concerned about my wife. I am very concerned and hysterical.
Incredibly concerned.
Here's my story. I was thrown out.
So the cops and the rescue effort is kind of two minds. First priority, get this man off the side of the mountain. Get him to medical attention to deal with whatever he's going for. Second priority, this woman still in the truck, went over the side of the cliff. Get her medical attention, and hopefully get everybody to safety and alive. So that is their primary focus. But they're putting a pin in it. Yeah. He's crying. He's hysterical. There's no tears. Yeah. Put a pin in it. Yeah. We should have been on top of him, but he swears he can't hear us. Put a pin in it. Yes. So that's where we are with Peter. So we've rescued Peter.
Yes, from the precipice of disaster.
And everybody is very happy to have rescued him.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But there are a few things odd about this accident.
Yes.
In addition to, like, how long it took to find him when it shouldn't have taken that long. One of them being how Peter managed to hold onto his cell phone while being thrown out of a truck as it's going over a cliff.
I was thinking tight pants. Because I know you say he takes it out of his pant pocket, but I'm like, if his cell phone is in his pants, those are some tight pants.
We'll talk about that later. And for a man who is saying that he was thrown out of the window of his truck as it's going over a cliff, Peter was incredibly tidy.
Tidy?
Neat.
Oh, okay. I thought you said tiny for a second there.
No, tidy.
I'm like, no wonder he shot through the window so easily. He's a tiny man.
Like a projectile.
But he's like clean.
No.
Like he's not
dirty.
He doesn't, okay.
He's not.
But he's like, he was slid, like 300 feet, I think
you
said. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should be like shredded.
I mean, he's dusty. He's a little dirty. He's dusty.
But to be thrown.
But the injuries that most people would associate with being thrown from a window out of a moving vehicle, either out of an open driver's side window or through a windshield, are usually the two ways that happens. He doesn't look like what that normally... Like, if you're thrown from a vehicle, you are the physical definition of road rash.
Yes! And I would think at least concussed.
And Peter is dusty. Like, he's got some dirt on his shirt.
Yeah, like he just lay down.
And he's got some... Because he was tummy down the whole time he was talking to the 911, so for like the hour and some change that he was on the side of the cliff, he was laying on his tummy, so he's got dirt on him, on his chest, and a little bit on his booty.
Yeah.
But not like you've been thrown from...
Yeah.
That's violent.
Yeah.
Being thrown from a moving vehicle is incredibly violent.
Yeah. His appearance is not matching the story.
Not even a little bit. He's relatively uninjured. He's got a little crick in his back. He sprained his ankle a little bit.
Yeah.
But like,
hurts worse than a break.
The cuts, the bruises, the abrasions, the breaks, the concussions, and all of the massive trauma that you would be associated with this violent accident are not on his person. So one of the people at the scene that helped rescue Peter is actually an accident reconstructionist.
Oh.
And he was like, this isn't that.
Yeah. One of these things is not like
the other. One of these things just isn't the same. And that is a very stark contrast to how Renette is found.
Oh.
Peter's rescued from the cops and the whole people about 700 feet down the hill. So it's a 700-foot drop off the side. So let's say he's rescued at 500 feet down.
Okay. So
he slid down, but he's still a good 200-300 feet away from going over the edge.
Yeah, yeah.
Where his wife has gone completely over inside the vehicle. She went down so hard, the camper shell that was in the back of that Ford, I think it's an F-150.
Oh.
So the camper shell that was put on the back of that F-150 was thrown off of the truck.
Dang.
When
popped right off.
Yeah, like it did. It like that.
Yeah. Oof.
When they found the wreckage of the truck, it was turned upside down with its headlights busted out. That's how much of an impact it made. The cab of the truck was crumbled.
Oh.
The roof of the truck was pressed down almost to the headrest.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And Renette was found upside down, barely strapped into the driver's seat by her seatbelt.
Yeah. Yeah, for F-150, I think it's just a lap belt. Like, back then, I don't even think, the shoulder strap was necessarily...
Yeah, but whether there's... The shoulder strap was either there or survived, she's upside down, barely kept in. Mm-hmm. This was a very violent accident. Yeah. So, the way she is found, in comparison to how Peter is rescued, is like...
night and day.
Renette has the type of injuries that you would expect from this sort of a violent accident.
Yeah.
The driver's side airbag had gone off, but the passenger side did not.
Huh.
And as the cops pried open the passenger door, they reached into the truck to feel Renette's neck, anything, like arm, anything for a sign of life, and nothing.
Yeah.
Renette Bergna was pronounced dead at the scene of the accident.
Oh. Sorry, Renette.
So now it's just an evacuation thing.
Yeah.
It's just body retrieval. So they already had the medicopters there. So since the helicopter was there, they were able to relatively quickly remove Renette's body from the scene to take it to the coroner.
Yeah, because you don't want to leave it in the woods for long.
Right. So her body is being taken for examination. Peter's going to the ER for examination. And now the cops can get a real good look at the crime at the scene.
Yeah.
Because the immediate thing of rescue and body removal have been handled.
Yes.
So now they can really, really look at this. Now, sadly, because it was an all-hands-on-deck 911 response, some of the shit that would have been evidence at the crash site is pretty trampled.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just trying to save people.
Yes.
And as a result, the crash scene was less about what is found versus what is not found.
Okay. Intriguing.
For example, while it was clear that the truck had busted through the guardrail, there are no skid marks. That would indicate that this truck had somehow gone out of control and there had been some sort of attempt to correct spinning out.
Yeah.
That's going to leave skid marks no matter what. So there's none of that. Also, the place where the truck went through the guardrail is a wide enough bluff that it should have been an easy left turn to correct. Let's say you came around this curve too fast.
Yeah.
The guardrail has like a 800 some odd foot bluff that's on the outside of it.
Like a lookout.
Right, exactly. Okay. So even if you came around this curve too fast and it felt like you were about to spin out of control, this bluff is big enough that the guardrail's on your right. So this bluff is big enough so that you could have made a left-hand turn.
Yeah.
And course corrected and avoided catastrophe fairly easily, which also would have left skid marks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not skid marks, just like, I don't know, just thrown up dust in such a way.
Right, there would be some sort of tracks.
The dirt.
Yeah, there'd be some sort of tracks that said, you course corrected here.
Yeah. Some ruts.
But there's none of that. The entire scene is just weird. And as the cops are trying to sort out what happened at the crash site, Renette's body is being taken to the coroner. And compared to her husband, her body is a fucking mess.
Aw.
Renette had 13 broken ribs, a broken kneecap, a broken wrist, blood filling her chest cavity. She also had bleeding in the brain and a broken neck. She sustained multiple blunt force trauma injuries around the head and neck, and one could only hope that she lost consciousness quickly.
Yeah.
Due to the severity and the number of injuries, there was no way to tell if Renette had been killed prior to that crash.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If they're speculating like that, it really must have been a weird crash scene. Look at me.
Same difference.
I'm not fooled. They weren't fooled.
Peter's butt was dusty. He had dust on his booty and his cheeks.
And his ankle hurts.
Yes. I mean, that's comparable to the collapsed skull and the blood-infused chest cavity that his wife is dealing with. The state of the crash, of course, leaves the cops with more questions than answers.
So many.
So it was decided that the cops needed to bring Peter in for questioning. When the cops picked Peter up, he was surrounded by friends who were worried about what happened. Like, basically, they rescue him, they take him to the ER, he's got a mid-sprain ankle.
Yeah.
There are worse sprains.
Yeah.
There are less important sprains.
Yes.
This one is someplace in the middle.
Yeah.
They clean him up. They send him home.
Okay.
Literally, there's nothing wrong with him.
It's miraculous.
He got thrown from a window, Jeannie.
Miraculously.
Thrown from a window
Yeah.
out of a moving vehicle as it plunged over a cliff.
All he needs is a miracle.
All I need is you.
Oh my god.
But you know what? They're gonna let him have it.
Yeah.
For now, we're letting him have it. A friend admitted to giving Peter a Valium for his busted ankle so that he could feel better.
That is the 90s.
And then Peter was taken to limp off to questioning.
Okay. I'll be brave. I'll be brave for Bergna.
The cops started out with Peter's background.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Peter Bergna?
Yeah.
What are you
Who
doing
is
on this
guy?
mountain? Who are you? Tell me about yourself, sir. So Peter's father, Lou Bergna,
Mm-hmm.
was an imposing and well-respected man in Santa Clara, California. Santa Clara is the city suburb outside of San Francisco.
Oh, them.
Yes, those people. The very fancy suburbs outside of San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite Marin County, which actually Marin County is a little more working class next to Santa Clara.
Dang. Is Bohemian Grove in Santa Clara? Dang.
And maybe because I know people that live in Marin County and my friends are pretty average,
Yeah.
Working to slightly upper. Maybe it's because I know people that live in Marin County, and when I go to Santa Clara, it's like, oh, this is fancy.
Scary.
Marin County is also
Very fancy.
very nice,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's weird. The Bay Area is just weird when it comes to it, what pockets of it are supposed to be wealthy and what parts aren't. Lou was first elected to district attorney in 1955.
Wow.
And he would go on to win 6 uncontested elections. Lou's reputation loomed large in Santa Clara and across the county as he was elected the U.S. District Attorney's the head of the National District Attorneys Association.
Oh, he's the head of the guild.
Yes. His reputation looms large!
This is an important man.
Lou was the stuff of legend.
Dang.
Who once turned down a judgeship in order to maintain his position as the head of the National Bureau of District Attorneys. But as influential as Lou was, he was also a modest man.
Really?
Well, he suffered polio when he was 5.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And the infection would leave Lou with a limp and a left arm that was barely functional.
Oh, dang.
But that didn't stop Lou from riding around on his lawn tractor
What?
and playing golf until the day he died.
Wow. Okay, I'm impressed.
Through a combination of inheritance and his government salary, Lou Bergna was worth close to a cool $4 million.
Wow.
Easy. Give or take.
Yeah,
throughout
that's
his
impressive.
life.
That's a lot of inheritance.
Yeah, I don't think his net worth ever really falls below the $4 million mark at varying points in his life. And with that money, Lou built a very beautiful home in the Santa Clara Hills, overlooking the poors and the working class.
Yes.
By 1998, Lou was on the verge of retirement and was in the process of handing his position over to his hand-picked successor.
Ugh, politics.
But a week before the election, the election was supposed to just be a formality.
Yes.
Because remember, Lou won 6 uncontested elections as district attorney. The local Santa Clara papers ran a story about shade going on in the district attorney's office.
Yes.
Now, we don't have the details of the story. I tried looking for it. It seems a little bit lost to time.
Okay.
And in the sense that, yeah, you could go and find online copies of that paper, but it's like, what was the story?
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't such a big deal that it seems to be blatantly obvious what the problem was.
Yeah.
But whatever the story was, it was clear that the information the papers got had to have come from inside.
Okay. A
The district,
whistleblower.
right, the district attorney's office. So there had to be a leak somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, in the leak of this newspaper story, one of Lou's last official duties as DA was to suspend his successor.
Oh.
As part of the leak to the newspapers.
Retaliation.
About the comings and goings of the DA's office. Lou's successor would go on to lose his bid for election.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, if Lou says, not you anymore, and there's not enough time to put up another successor before the election.
True.
People are, I don't want to say flying blind, but people aren't going for a spoon-fed district attorneys. I mean, people are making the decisions that they make.
Yeah.
And it looks like, in Lou, haha, no puns intended, but without Lou feeding the city at large a hand-picked successor, the people are just going to do what the people are going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
If this newspaper shit hadn't happened, they may have very well elected that guy.
Yeah.
Because the guy that won 6 uncontested elections said, this is my guy.
Yeah.
So, there you go. So, Lou's successor then turned around and sued Lou and the district attorney's office, saying that his suspension was unfair.
Yeah.
And the legal battle about this whole whistleblower successor thing would go on for nearly a decade.
Wow. Dang.
Before Lou's successor would be cleared of any wrongdoings around
Good
the
for
information leak in 1991.
Wow.
Yeah. So Lou's parting gift as district attorney was leaving the city with a settlement tab of $1.2 million.
Dang.
Now, I'm retired. Bye.
Bye. See you on the golf course.
Yeah. Parting gift. $1.2 million settlement. That is his parting gift after 30 years of service.
You're welcome.
And yet, shockingly, when Lou retired officially, there was nothing but glowing cover stories about him in newspapers. Everybody said he was, like, fantastic. His tenure was nothing but gold.
He did a lot of people a lot of favors.
Yes. Now, with all of that said, to grow up in the Bergna home
Yes.
is to be surrounded by greatness.
Oh, that sounds tedious.
Greatness, Jeannie.
Oh, not in a fun way.
And the constant reminders that the Bergnas were expected to do great things. The walls of Lou's office and parts of the house were peppered with all of Lou's awards, commendations, diplomas.
Modest man. He's a modest man, I tell you.
Now, Peter is the second of Lou and Pat Bergna's 6 adopted children.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they had fertility issues or...
Well, either way, to adopt 6 children is a good thing.
It is a net positive.
Yes.
And in school, Peter was far from being a standout student. He was fine.
Okay. Oh, no, but this is a great household.
He never got into trouble.
Okay, good.
But he also never did anything to shame the family either. He is, like, just fine.
Yeah.
Peter is fine. He didn't do any of the things the kids normally do to rebel in their teenage years.
Okay.
Possibly because he's an adoptee and he's like, nope, acting out will make them get rid of me. I'm gonna stay here and be fine.
Oh, that's sad.
It's a possibility.
True.
Peter has never said that,
Yeah.
but I feel that is a distinct possibility.
They'll take me back to the people pound.
Yeah. Peter is adopted as a grade schooler.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I could see where there would be that.
So,
Yeah.
even though Lou and his mother, Peter's mom, Pat, love Peter and all of their adopted children as if they were fruit of their loin, let's be real. Sometimes people that are adopted in the age of reason.
Yeah.
Are like, nope, gotta be good or they'll throw me back.
Oh.
So
I sympathize. Yeah, that's it. I sympathize. That has to be rough.
It's the only time you can feel bad for Peter. It's fine.
Enjoy it while you can, Pete.
Yep. In high school, Peter played football, but he was not a star player. We're continuing with being very average.
Yeah, we're aggressively average.
Because I don't want to get thrown back in the people pound.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be as inoffensive as humanly possible in everything that I do. After high school, Peter would go on to attend Seattle Pacific, where he majored in education and fell in love with the sport of soccer.
Oh, well, good for him. It's a good sport.
While his love for soccer would be lifelong, Peter is more of a fan and not a player.
Okay.
Much like with football, he is incredibly average at best.
Know thyself.
And the closest he ever got to really being on the soccer field was coaching kids' games. He's a lifelong youth sports guy.
Oh.
He's always involved in youth sports, usually as a soccer coach.
Okay.
But he is a lifelong youth sports guy.
You say he studied
education. Yeah.
Is he like a PE teacher?
Nope, he just loves soccer. He just loves soccer, and the best way for him to participate in the sport as a person that's not actually good at being the game is to coach children.
Yeah. I would figure he'd be a PE teacher.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. We'll get there.
Okay.
In 1973, Peter worked as a camp counselor where he was remembered as outgoing and fun by kids and staff alike. By 1977, Peter was working as a dorm supervisor at a private school in San Jose.
Dorm supervisor?
Yep.
Huh.
And it was around this time when he's working as the dorm supervisor, around 77, that Peter developed an interest in antiques and antiques buying.
I did not see that coming. What?
Antiques.
He's into dressers.
Yes.
Dressers and tables.
And painting.
Love it.
Collectibles.
Okay.
All sorts.
Good for him.
Peter would spend his weekends with friends going to garage sales, estate sales, finding old furniture, then he would restore it and resell it. Eventually, Peter got so good at buying and selling antiques for other people that in time, he decided, my calling is antiques.
Wow. I've never heard someone's story of how they got into antiques.
Yeah.
That just seems like something like the family business, you know?
Peter seems... I might be skipping ahead a little bit, but his love of antiques is almost more like the thrill of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like gambling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is, kind of. I bet you I can sell this for more. Yeah.
It's a lot more educated guessing than straight gambling.
Yeah. Oh, true.
You do have to know something about something.
Yeah.
But it feels like more like gambling in the sense that he likes the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah.
And he likes the thrill of a sale.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
he likes that.
Yeah, like treasure hunting.
Right. Only without the problematic nature that comes with being a problematic gambler.
Yeah.
But he's getting that same rush. So, since he's antiquing as his calling now, Peter dedicated his life to learning the business of antique dealing.
Oh, good for him. Cool.
He read auction books like the way other people read Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
As Peter starts to seek his fortune in antiques, he moves to the tiny town of Incline Village, Nevada, which is nestled snugly in the mountains in between Reno and Tahoe. When he first got to Incline Village, Peter worked as an appliance salesman to make ends meet while he's doing his antiques thing.
Makes sense. Sales.
And in 1986, Peter would get his appraiser's license officially, and he would become a freelance appraiser for Butterfields.
Ooh.
Butterfields. It's very
I know.
fancy.
Very official.
Peter would become a well-liked and well-respected appraiser who had knowledge about all sorts of shit. From antique furniture to comic books and collectibles, wine, and everything in between. He knows a little bit about something. And Peter knew how to treat people. He knew how to treat people well. He knew how to mind his manners. And he was really good at walking that line between appraising goods high enough to get the seller excited about selling, but not so high that people wouldn't be disappointed if it didn't sell for what they hoped it was.
All right, cool. That's a good skill to have.
It's a talent. It's a talent. Because, it's real. I bet you it's probably real easy to overpromise.
Yeah.
And disappoint.
Yeah. Like, if you come from the bullshitting school of sales,
it's really easy to overpromise and disappoint. But Peter seems to be able to walk that line of, we should get about this much, and you're either going to get what he says maybe a little bit under, or get what he says and a bit higher.
Yeah.
Enough to make you keep dealing with him.
Yes.
Whenever you pull something out of Nana's attic. Peter is good at his job.
Nice.
He will travel all over the West Coast and earns in excess of $100,000 a year.
Nice. That is a good living.
As a regional consignor. He's going to get to a point, as we get deeper into the story, he's probably never going to make less than $100K.
Nice.
Yes, there are some years where he makes infinitely more, times where he makes about $100K even, but he never really makes too much less than $100K.
Cool.
At a certain point. In fact, Peter has the distinction of being the only regional rep in the history of Butterfields to score a consignment of $1 million.
Ooh, what did he find?
A bunch of old slot machines.
Nice! That is a cool find.
Yeah, like, he bought a lot of slot machines. I think it was like a dozen of them for like $1,000 or something that was like ridiculously cheap for however many he got. And he was able to turn it around for over $1 million in auction. Once.
Impressive.
He got them all cleaned up and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And that is, even in this industry, that's an incredible rarity.
Yeah.
To turn that much.
That's you found treasure.
Yeah. And when he wasn't working, people that knew Peter called him a loyal and loving friend.
Oh, okay.
Once, Peter helped a friend whose kid was suffering from Tourette's.
Ooh, yeah.
Get their hands on an experimental drug in Europe before it became USDA approved. And that family credits Peter with saving their child's life.
Oh, nice.
Peter coached youth soccer, even though he's not a parent. And much like when he was a camp counselor, he's incredibly well-liked by students and parents.
Well, it makes sense that he studied education. I mean, he seems to like kids.
He really does.
And not in a gross way. Like some people just do, like, I like teaching kids things.
Yeah, and that seems to be Peter. That seems to be his jam. After a brief marriage in the 80s, Peter's love life was at a standstill until he met Renette Riella in 1987. Now, after a brief marriage in the early 80s, Peter's love life was at a standstill until he met Renette Riella
Renette. Riella. Ooh.
in 1987.
She sounds not high maintenance. She sounds classy.
Renette is classy and down to earth and absolutely adorable.
Yay! I like Renette.
At the time that they met, Peter was 35 and Renette was 38. They were introduced by a friend. Renette was a devout Catholic whose bright and bubbly personality was more than a match for the outgoing Peter.
Nice.
I mean, he may be please and thank you, yes or no, ma'am, but you gotta be really outgoing to be a antiques.
Yeah, you have to like people. You have to, it's a people-based business.
And you gotta be willing to wine and dine and go to the right events to convince this heir and that heir to give you grandma's jewels. Yeah. Basically. The pair were married within months.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no.
And on paper, they were a really good match. Not only were they both outgoing with a large network of friends and extended family, but they were a financial power couple. Between Peter's commissions as an appraiser, remember, he doesn't really make less than $100K.
Yeah.
And Renette's gig as a super pharmacist.
Ooh, oh, wow.
They pull in over $200K a year.
Nice.
Between the both of them. And they live in one of the most exclusive areas of Incline Village, Nevada.
Yeah.
In between Reno and Tahoe.
Yeah.
They are doing very well for themselves. They have a multi-million-dollar home. It is a beautiful home filled with every antique you could possibly think of.
It makes sense.
And while Peter was raised with all of the pomp and circumstance that comes with being a well-respected politician's son.
Great man.
Greatness, Jeannie. Surrounded by greatness. Renette is a little bit more down home.
Well, yeah, she's like a dairy farm girl.
Yep, she grew up in Manteca, California, which is in central California.
Yay.
Heading up north, but not quite up north.
Yeah.
In a dairy farming family that had done extremely well for themselves.
Nice.
In the dairy business, but prided themselves on being humble farm folk. That just seems to be a farm people thing.
Yeah, true.
In spite of their success, they're very humble people.
Yeah.
Renette's grandfather had bought their original 120 acres in the 1920s when he first immigrated to the U.S. And Renette's mother and father expanded on the property in the 1950s. They own something like 500-600 acres.
Wow, not bad. That is substantial.
And Renette was the oldest kid in the Riella home, but the only girl.
Okay.
So we don't know a whole lot about...
She's a farm girl with brothers. Nice.
Yeah. We don't know... She's got 3 brothers. There's one brother that is older than Renette from her father's first marriage.
Okay.
We don't know a lot about that brother or what happened between Dad and this other woman, but that son lives with that family and is kind of on the outskirts.
Okay.
He's in the family, but kind of on the outside of the family. So Renette is the only girl, but the oldest sibling living within the farm family.
Got it.
But being a girl did not exempt Renette from her duties on the farm.
No way.
She can bale some hay, milk a cow, punch a goat, whatever the fuck it is you gotta do. I don't know what you do on a dairy farm. I don't know why I think you punch goats. Don't punch goats.
Well, goats can get nasty. And sometimes you gotta punch them.
I don't know. I don't know what happens at a dairy
They're
farm.
coming at you with their little horns.
All I know is the one time I was at a dairy farm, a baby cow, a calf sucked my little 7-year-old hand into its mouth up to the elbow, and it was one of the most horrifying experiences of my life. It was like one of those things where it's like, kids from the city get to go to a farm.
Yeah.
And
this cow tries to eat you.
And I remember we were in the dairy in the milking part where the farmer was showing us the machines and shit. And I was leaning on the stall and there was a baby calf in the stall, but I was like just leaning against it, and out of nowhere, just my hand getting sucked like into this calf's mouth. I couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 at the time, so it was just like into this little fucking cow's mouth. My whole hand all the way up to the elbow, and it just started like nursing on my arm. And I couldn't even scream. I just stood there terrified.
Y'all, that's so sweet.
I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Why did it grab me?
And my other little friends are like, it's eating her! And I just remember the farmer came over and like pulled my arm out of the cow's mouth.
Yeah.
Like pulled it out.
Yeah.
It made the most horrifying suction noise because the cow wasn't letting me go.
Yeah.
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
And as the gore and goop just leaked down my hand, I was covered in cow juices.
Yes.
And I remember the farmer explaining, just like babies like a pacifier,
Yeah.
so do baby cows.
Yeah.
And that's what your arm is.
Yeah.
You're okay. There's nothing wrong with you. The calf just I just dripping.
Get
like
gross.
It's been over 40 years, but I can still feel my hand dripping with cow. It was a horrifying experience. Hilariously horrifying, but like, ah! So I really don't know what goes on a dairy farm beyond that, because I think that's really the only thing I remember from that trip to a dairy farm.
That is quite memorable.
I think we might have milked a goat or something too.
Aww.
But yeah, none of that compares to like being eaten by a cow. That's
unique.
what I remember.
It's very unique.
In later interviews, Renette's youngest brother Rick would say that Renette was the kind of person that didn't think she was too good for anything, and that included farm work and the tiny bit of parentification.
Yeah.
But but in the kind of good way.
Yeah.
In the sense that somebody's got to watch these 2 little boys while mom and dad bale hay, and it's you. So, not all parentification is benign, but
true.
This seems to be the benign kind of parentification. Renette was 13 years older than her youngest brother Rick, and so she practically raised him as her baby.
Yeah.
While her mom and dad ran the farm. Renette would graduate high school in 1967, and after high school she would go to UC Davis, where she would graduate with honors in 1971.
Nice.
After UC Davis, Renette wanted to go to medical school to be a pediatrician, but then she was like, ugh, babies are nasty. And so she decided to study pharmacy at University of Pacific instead.
It takes a special kind of person to want to get really up close and personal with the human body.
And
sometimes
babies.
Into it. Yeah.
And babies.
Yeah.
They can't even tell you what's wrong with them.
I know, they just...
And you just gotta poke these little gelatinous sacks of goo
what are
to
their
figure
poops
it out.
like?
Yeah, exactly.
Show me their poop.
Yeah. After leaving the University of Pacific, Renette moved to Incline Village, Nevada, where she built a network of friends and built a life that revolved around work, travel, friends, and family.
Nice. That is a good life.
The Riella family still had extended family in Italy. And she loved visiting Europe on long vacations, hang out with her cousins, yada, yada, yada.
That's lovely.
After they were married, Renette and Peter lived in a beautiful home in Incline Village that had all the antiques.
Yes.
If there's some old, musty, fancy pants,
Yeah.
they got it. The Bergnas were very involved in the local Catholic church in Incline Village, where Renette sang in the choir.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
you were not wrong. Gloria, Gloria, Gloria.
Every time I hear music that like if I go to a mass, I'm like either something's coming to kill me or I'm ready for a comedy skit, and I never know which is gonna happen. Those are the only times I ever hear anybody go, la, la, la.
It's either for horror or comedy.
Yeah, it's very extremes when I hear people doing like those chants, and I'm like, which is it going to be today?
What kind of world am I in now?
Peter also was a youth soccer coach, of course, and by the time of her death, Renette had climbed the corporate ladder to be the director of pharmacy at a hospital in Carson City, Nevada. She also had a director of pharmacy position at a hospital in Reno.
Oh, wow.
And she did consulting work.
Oh, wow. Busy.
She, pop. Renette is the ultimate drug dealer.
Clearly.
Like, that's how you make it.
Yeah.
That's how you make it pay.
This is before OxyContin.
Actually, I think it might have been being invented around the time.
Yeah, 98, that's about the time.
Yeah. So, Oxys and Roxys were just making their way into the market when Renette's doing her thing. So, between the two of them, they live a very, very nice life.
Yeah.
I mean, they traveled all over the country together.
Oh, fun.
Like, both of their jobs require travel. Especially Peter's.
Yeah.
So I think they've been to all 50 states at least once.
Oh, cool.
Looking for antiques and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, Renette loves to travel and visit Europe. So they've been all over the European continent.
All over the continent.
They've been everywhere.
Yeah.
It's actually a beautiful life.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want that?
Everyone who knew the Bergnas felt that they were a nice couple that led a nice, quiet, and extremely comfortable life together.
It appears so.
And yet, Peter is restless in his marriage.
Of course. Why?
He wants children.
Oh.
Renette is 48. Peter is 45.
Yeah. Should have thought about that sooner.
I'm not saying that people don't have change of life babies. You know, they're...
Oh, sure.
You know, she may be 48, but she could...
If she really
wanted to. I'm just saying, at this stage in the game, if you ain't done it, you're not going to.
Probably not. Unless you were like, adopt now.
Renette said the factory is fucking closed.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
that's your
the factory was never open. I mean, maybe for recreation, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was never her plan.
Yeah, like, no.
And she doesn't plan to change plans now.
Yeah, that factory is not open for production.
Okay. And so this is like a point of contention?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like, no, I'm with Renette. We're at the same age. This factory is not open for production.
Yeah.
But we're not above a scrimmage or two.
Yes.
If the need arises.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we could give some tours. We can show people how the factory works.
Yeah.
But we produce nothing.
Yeah.
I'm with Renette on that one. And Peter was whining that he wanted a wife that could be here for him.
Okay.
And be home with him at night.
Is he scared? What?
He just wants her home with him.
Oh, okay. Then he should have married that girl.
So by the time Renette had died, she had made some career changes. She had gone from being super pharmacist, super dope dealer, to being a tour guide.
Oh, okay. So she got out when it got dirty.
Yeah, but she also
brought out the oxy and she's like, no, I'm going to Europe.
Yeah. Now, she took like a 50% pay cut. She went from making like 200 to 100K a year to like 75, 80.
Yeah.
But they had money in the bank.
Yeah.
Peter's still making what he makes.
Yeah.
They're not hurt.
I'm guessing she's going to inherit part of a dairy farm.
Yes, and we'll get to that. But
like, she comes for money, he comes for money. They made a lot of money. Yeah, she can afford it.
Right. But he wants her to be home with him. I didn't sign up for somebody that just would be gone all the time.
It's like, did this guy get red pilled? He wants her to be a trad wife now?
Also, you were 35 and she was 38 when y'all met. You should have known who she was.
Yeah.
Talked
about it at least.
Nothing about her said, I want to just sit at home and look at your fuzzy ass all day. Nothing about her says
Yeah.
that. But all of a sudden, at 45, why won't you be home with me? Boy, bye.
Yeah.
You know, you need to leave Renette alone and find some young chippy that just wants to pop out babies for you, because
she's out there.
She is not the one. And so because of her new job as a tour guide, Renette was usually away from home from anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks at a time every couple of months.
Okay.
12 months to the year, let's say she travels 4.
Okay. Yeah.
So she is gone a lot, but again, I don't think it's any different than when she was living that pharma life.
Yeah.
Because her job as a director of pharmacy required her to travel.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference was she might be gone for a weekend or overnight.
Yeah.
Versus weeks at a time on the European continent.
Yeah.
Like, her travel was more local.
Mm-hmm.
But he never had a wife that was home every day.
Yeah. It's so weird.
But this is what he wants now. In fact, Renette was so into her job, she was thinking about buying a condo in Italy.
Ooh, yes.
Well, she does have family in Italy.
Yeah.
The extended family, the cousins,
you
and
don't
everything.
need to have family in Italy to want a condo in Italy. That sounds awesome.
You don't need it, but for Renette, she was like, okay, I'm doing this tour guide thing a lot more seriously. I'm starting to feel a way about constantly imposing on my cousins and on my family when I'm in town.
Yeah.
Also, she has her own needs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you spend your entire day showing people around and being social,
Yeah.
only to go to your cousin's house to crash.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a different set of social obligations. Yeah. Like, she just wants a place to be able to be by herself so that she's not imposing and she can get her own needs met.
It makes sense to put down some roots and nest in a place where obviously you feel very at home.
Yeah. No, like, she's Italian.
Yeah. Proper Italian. We make mozzarella.
Oh, mortadella. Oh.
Mortadella.
Which reminds me, I'm going to steal some more cheeses.
Yes!
Meats and cheeses. The homie just got back from visiting his own family in Italy. He got a fridge full of meats and cheeses that I have been dying
you better
to
hurry.
pilfer. How do you feel about old Peter and Renette?
They seem really nice on paper, you're right. But what the hell, dude? Just get a divorce.
Now, with the background out of the way, Peter started telling the cops about the accident.
Mm-hmm.
Peter said that the turnaround where his truck had smashed in the barricade was one of their favorite places to see the city.
Uh-huh.
They like to look over the bluff and see the lights of Reno and
how romantic of him.
Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
This turnaround, it's like located near a resort with ski slopes on Slide Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So from that particular steep hill, you get a beautiful view of the city. And not only is it a wonderful place to sit and just enjoy each other's company, it's also a place where base jumpers and hang gliders jumped off. So this is a deep, come on, hang gliders. You need a good long ramp to
yeah, you do.
go over. And that night, Peter had picked up Renette from the airport after her latest trip to Europe. She had just come back from, I think, a 6-week trip.
Nice.
Of Italy, which was her specialite. Oh, she's still fluent in Italian. That's how second, third generation her family is. She's still fluent in Italian.
Oh, I'm glad she had just gone on a trip. I'm glad she got to do the thing she loved the most one more time.
Yeah. So she was just coming back from a trip. I think she had done like 3 or 4 tours. Mm-hmm. One in Italy, one in Germany, and one in one other place. So she was...
What a wonderful job. That's a dream job.
That's why she took the pay cut. She's doing what she wants to do for money. Mm-hmm. Not as much as when she was working for pharma, but if your husband's making $100K plus, and you're still bringing in $80K,
she can afford it.
They're fine.
Yeah,
they're not hurting. So he just picked Renette up from the airport, and on the drive home, Peter suggested they stop Slide Mountain, so they can enjoy the view and talk about some of the challenges in their marriage.
Okay.
You know, about being 45 and 48 and wanting babies.
After you're jet lagged.
She
flew in from Europe, and he wants to yak at her on a bluff.
About their marriage and
oh my god,
their problems.
I would be so beside myself with rage if I had just been on a transatlantic, transcontinental flight.
Several.
In the middle of the night. My body has no idea what time it is. Shut the fuck up.
Several.
You take me home and you put me to bed.
Because so when Renette is on these tours, Italy is her home base. Just because it's where her biggest specialty is. Yeah. Or she has family there. Italy is her home base, so that's not the only place she gives tours. Yeah. So when she goes to Germany or Greece or any place else, she's jumping off from Italy. Yeah. Every week to go to another place to do a tour for a week at a time. So she's been on several transatlantic, transcontinental flights. Yes. Before she came home. Yeah. Because I think there's time differences between all those things. Yeah. So she's, it's not just the plane ride back from Europe to the U.S.
You know something funny about Europe? Their time zones are in the half hours.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
That would throw me off.
Oh, yeah, and they're all in military time, too.
Oh, so it's just Christ, I gotta subtract 12 from everything? I'm not.
So, like, the way I am, it is dawn. It is noon. It is dusk. I don't give a shit what that clock says.
Girl, when we have a policy at work that meetings are scheduled 5 after the hour, 5 after, 10 after, or 15 after, to give people, time to go to the bathroom or get a little breather in between. So all of our meetings are like 05, 15, or or on the 25. Yeah. Like nothing is ever on the hour or on the half hour. Yeah. You have no idea how badly that fucks with me.
It's weird.
That 5 minutes. And I understand why it's there. Yeah. Because some people, like, if you have a lot of meetings, that 5 minutes is literally all you get to go to the bathroom and get some water. But it's
so wrong.
It throws my body off every time. I can't even imagine on the half hour. So according to Peter, when him and Renette got to Slide Mountain, they sat in the car and talked for an hour. Peter telling Renette about how lonely he was without her. And then he wanted Renette to cut back on her traveling. If she didn't want to quit her job, I just need you to scale back.
Oh, God. Selfish prick.
By the end of the conversation, Peter said that he was feeling good because Renette agreed that she would scale back her travel schedule so that she could be home more for him.
Liar. Lying on a dead woman. Get him, Renette. Haunt him.
From the pits of hell.
She would never agree to scale back. Never.
I don't even think this conversation happened. True. But we'll talk about it.
But talk about fantasy land.
Yeah, I mean, Renette traveled.
I told her what my needs were, and she was so sweet. And
receptive. And she said, okay, I can meet that need. Even though, she traveled 3 to 4 months out of the year. But that's fine. Peter just said that I didn't sign up for a wife that would never be around.
Oh, God.
And she understood.
This is what happens when you marry someone after a few months. Red flag.
I think...
Get to know him first. See if your goals align. God damn. Get a divorce!
My theory with their whirlwind courtship is that they are both people of a certain age and from very specific conservative backgrounds. Yes. And they were starting to feel the social pressure of being uncoupled, especially for the place that they were in their lives and careers. Yeah. And because they got along okay and looked good on paper, they're just like, fuck it, then all these people will back off, right?
Still, I say get to know someone.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you, but my gut
but they're not stupid.
Yeah, no, my gut said they're from very specific backgrounds and at a stage of life that at 35 and 38 respectively, they were starting to feel the pressure of...
But again, I go back to get a divorce.
It would be easy.
Right?
But we'll talk about it. Now, Peter said that they got back in the truck and they were chatting
Mm-hmm.
when he suggested that they go down the mountain one level so that they could get a better look at the lights from of Reno from a slightly lower vantage point. You could see a little bit better. But as Peter was driving to get to that lower level, he said he started to brake, but the truck wouldn't stop. He said he did all he could get brake, but before he knew it, they were sailing through the guardrail.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter was he was thrown from the truck. He doesn't know how. He doesn't know how. He doesn't know why. He just says he was trying to brake. He lost control of the truck. He was thrown out, and Renette goes over the cliff inside the truck.
Wow. It was a narrative miracle, Your Honor.
Sailing.
Sailing away.
Over the guardrails to a certain death.
Come sail away.
Come sail away. Come sail away with me, you guys.
Sure, dude.
Yeah.
Sure.
But he doesn't know how he got thrown out of the truck. But he does know he got thrown out of the truck. But he doesn't remember how. But he tried to brake. It wouldn't brake. So with Peter said that he came to because he doesn't remember how he got
out. Of course
he did. He doesn't remember how he got thrown out of the truck, but he got thrown out of the truck. And when he comes through, he's near the bottom of the cliff where it drops off about maybe 250, 300 feet away from the actual drop off, and scrambled to grab like a tree limb, or root or whatever he was grabbing onto, at the bottom. He was like just clinging on for dear life to keep him from falling even further. But he couldn't see Renette or the truck, and he was looking for a fire.
Why? Why are you looking for a fire, sir?
Because I'm looking for a fire. But he couldn't see Renette, he couldn't see the truck, and he couldn't see a fire. Peter would be interviewed for over 3 hours that night. And during that interview, there would be more than a few places where the cops would find contradictions. And sometimes all-out lies. 1 minute, the lookout near Slide Mountain was one of their favorite places.
Yeah.
A few minutes later, Peter would say they rarely went there. Which is it?
Yeah.
You never go there? Or is it your favorite place?
Yeah.
In another section of the interview, Peter said that his truck had no history of brake issues. But then later he would say that he took it to the mechanics for some maintenance because he was feeling the brakes getting weird. Which is it?
It's adjusting.
Then he tells the cops that he lost control of the truck and accidentally hit the accelerator instead of the brake.
Is this after they asked him about the skid marks being not present?
They didn't ask him about that.
Oh, okay.
They're keeping that in their back pocket.
Got it. But he's just trying to
so
cover all his bases.
at this point, they're not treating Peter as a suspect per se.
Okay.
He is the victim of an unfortunate accident.
Yes.
And they are just trying to figure out how this accident happened because there is a dead person.
Yeah.
But as they're getting all of these contradictions and different stories, they are starting to lean towards, through the course of this 3 hours, they are starting to lean towards this may not have been an accident. But when they originally bring him in, that's not what they're thinking.
Okay.
I mean, they thought it looked hinky.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, hinky shit just happens sometimes.
True.
And
I mean, accidents, they are tragic, and
right, so
they could just be tragic coincidences.
Yeah, so that original 3 hours, they're not looking at him like, what did you do?
Yeah.
They're just like, well,
what happened?
Right. And they're getting all these different, what happened was, me and Craig and them had went up and, like, they're getting a lot of Craig and them.
Yes.
Nobody feels good about a Craig and them story.
No. And it seems like it's strange to get contradictory information about what seems to be a simple accident. The car went off a cliff.
Yeah.
That's not complicated, so why are you confused?
Right, why do you not know shit?
Yeah.
Why do you got different stories for shit?
Yeah.
Or why do you black out about key shit?
Yeah, it's convenient.
And in between all of this, Peter's complaining about how lonely he was in his marriage.
Oh, God. Wait.
I'm so alone. it's a lot of that.
Just wallowing in pity. Pity me. Feel sorry for me.
Oh, what a world. Now, when he was pressed more about Renette's travels and how he spent time when she was away, Peter said he spent his time working and hanging out with friends. And the day of the crash, he had been helping a buddy of his wrangle his 8 crumb snatchers before he had to go get Renette from the airport.
Yeah.
Literally spent the day, like, helping a friend wrangle his fucking 8 kids.
But still had, like, the strength to just park for an hour with his wife.
Just talk about their marriage, Jeannie.
When she is jet lagged to hell and back.
He's lonely. I get so lonely. I can't let just anybody
lonely. And then there's, like, needy. What in the neediness is this?
He's lonely.
He's needy.
Lonely. But not maybe like in the Blackstreet, like Janet Jackson remix kind of way. Lonely. Yes, Bruce, he's lonely. I don't know if you guys heard that squeak.
I know, so cute. Pet me now.
Bruce
the night.
is the fattest cat. And you're not chubby.
No, I've seen fatter, but he is a chunky monkey.
Bruce is the chunkiest boy with the tiniest voice.
Yes.
It's hilarious. So, he spends his day helping his friends wrangle his 8 crumb snatchers, then drives to Reno, which is about an hour and some change outside of Incline Village.
Yeah.
It's a hike. And picks Renette up for the airport in Reno. At this point in the interview, the cops did have the evidence report from the crash scene. And they saw that 2, count them, 1, 2, full gas cans had been thrown from the truck.
Okay.
And they were full.
Oh. Huh.
So now it's daylight, right?
Yeah.
It's like 6, 7. The accident itself happens close to midnight. It's almost 1 a.m. by the time they find Peter. Let's call it 3 a.m. before they get Peter and Renette to the hospital and the coroner, respectively.
Yeah.
Well, we know Renette's stuck in the morgue. Let's say Peter's home by 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And so the cops bring Peter back in for questioning. Let's call it 9 a.m.
Oh, okay.
So now light has happened. And now the cops can properly search the crash scene where the truck went over the cliff and look at the truck itself.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't do it. You can do whatever you want, but it was much more difficult to do at night.
Yes,
and
of course.
At night, the focus is on getting Peter and Renette removed from their respective situations.
Yes.
Right? So they don't really start to examine the crash site and the truck until the next morning. Right? So they found that not only the camper shell popped off.
Yeah.
And when they're looking at the debris, there's camper shell 50 feet that way, part of a tire 20 feet that way. There's debris all over the place, right? And amongst that debris, they find 2 full gas cans. Why does he have 2 full gas cans?
I know, because you cannot drive around with those for long. I mean, just like from experience, like you don't have that just in case.
Well, according to Peter, he either has them because he was getting ready to take a trip to Vegas and he wanted to have extra gas with him in case something happened in between.
What?
Because they're in like the Reno area and Vegas.
Yeah, but it's not the Donner Party. What?
Or he could use it for like a snowblower
Yeah.
or like the lawnmower. One of the two. Take whichever story you want.
Wait, what time of year is this happening?
It's June.
Okay.
So take whichever one you like. He either had the extra gas to have in case of emergencies.
In the 1800s.
In 1998.
There are gas stations
When
in
he's
1998.
driving to Las
fuck?
Vegas, which is a couple hours outside of the Reno area, but he's having it just in case something happens to him when he's in the desert.
Yeah.
Or he needs it to power a snowblower and varying lawn equipment. Take whichever story you like. Whichever one makes you feel better is the one that we're going to go with. What makes you feel good? Lawn equipment or stuck in the desert? What do you feel good about?
None of it makes sense.
Well, those are the stories he's giving, and
Oh my
you
God.
just need to
I
pick
love
one.
that it's a snowblower.
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't come up with jet ski. You are mediocre and average, sir.
So, between Peter's contradictory statements about how the accident took place, lack of skid marks in the area, and
Yeah.
now these weirdo gas cans,
Yeah.
the cops are like, I don't think this is a freak accident.
Right?
I don't think this is a freak accident at all.
And I think I know why you were looking for a fire.
I think you staged this accident,
What?
sir. And you were looking for a fire because you were hoping the shit exploded.
God, the hounds in the back of their heads. Burr, burr.
Oh.
Found one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The hounds are braying.
They like, this ain't right.
Mm-mm.
This is not right, and it is not okay. When the cops asked Peter about the fact that Renette's airbag never went off,
Yeah.
his airbag did, hers didn't.
That seems overkill.
Actually, Peter admitted that he had disabled the airbag
What? Why would he admit that?
because he had heard a story on NPR
Yes.
where airbags could be dangerous to small people, children and small people, people and children.
Yes.
And because Renette was 5 feet tall and 120 pounds, he felt that she was on the small side of dangerous.
Okay.
So he disabled her airbag, so God forbid she wouldn't be killed by the airbag if they were in an accident or
What
something.
a pity.
So he admitted to that. Yeah, he did that.
Oh, God.
He heard it on NPR.
That is so weird and dumb and made up.
So through all of this, after admitting the disabling of the airbags because NPR told him to, yada, 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 Peter's constantly complaining, I'm so lonely. So lonely.
Oh, my God.
Also, he's a pillar of the community.
Yeah? Oh, is he saying that?
Yes.
Of course.
And he's also complaining about how expensive
He, too, is a humble man.
He was raised in greatness, Jeannie.
This is a lot of smoke to throw up. This is a lot of dust to throw up around this
He
accident.
was raised in greatness.
Dust in the wind, throwing dust
In the wind.
Bullshit! Bullshitometer.
He also complained a
It's
lot
like
about
ding,
how
ding, ding, ding,
expensive
ding.
it was to get long-distance calls from Renette while she was traveling.
Cheap bastard.
Yeah.
Don't be cheap, dude. You can afford it.
So, feeling that they're being lied to.
Yeah, and not appreciating it. They classically hate this.
The cops were like, okay, let's see how truthful this cat really is. So they spun a yarn
Mm-hmm.
to see how Peter would react.
Mm-hmm.
And they told Peter that they were interviewing his friends,
Mm-hmm.
which was true. And during those interviews, there were rumors that the Bergnas were discussing divorce.
Oh.
Peter admitted that they discussed divorce,
Oh.
but the interviews with the friends saying that were fake.
Yeah.
They had plans to interview their friends and things, but at that point they hadn't.
Yeah.
They're just trying to see how truthful he is.
Nice.
When the cops asked Peter about insurance on Renette,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have anything too crazy for their income bracket.
Yeah.
There's about $250K of life insurance on Renette,
Mm-hmm.
and considering how much they made, the number of antiques in their home,
Yeah.
yada, 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 this is normal for their tax bracket and
Yeah.
income.
Yeah.
Now, what Peter didn't tell them
Yes.
was that Renette's real net worth was in her family property.
Mm.
Renette stood to inherit farmland from her family that was worth anywhere from $600,000 to $700,000, respectively, for her third.
Mm-hmm.
When the cops asked Peter if he would inherit any of the property, he was like, no. Like, real mad about it.
Yeah.
And then, so they're like, okay, that's a bit strong.
Yeah.
Why so?
Yeah.
Why such a strong no?
Yeah. Why so emotional?
So Peter explained that from the time Renette's grandparents had bought the property and started the dairy farm, they had intended for the family, the farm, and the property to stay within the Riella family.
Mm-hmm.
And to that end, only siblings could inherit the property, which each of the three siblings, Renette and her two brothers, owning a full third of the property and the dairy business. This is supposed to ensure that even if the kids that decided not to work the farm
Mm-hmm.
would have some sort of financial stake in the property and the farm itself and be invested in
Mm-hmm.
its overall well-being and keep the property in the family. And if ever a sibling didn't want the property, they would sell their share back to the other siblings to make sure the property stays intact.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This deal is strictly among the Riella family, but specifically the siblings.
Mm-hmm.
No spouses are involved in this land deal.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the way they set the land deal up, the only way for Peter to get his hands on this land or any money associated with it,
Mm-hmm.
it was for Renette to die.
Mm-hmm.
The cops were like, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to die for you to...
Mm-hmm.
Great.
It's strange that they did.
Further investigation would also find that Peter's explanation of the insurance and the Riella property wasn't strictly on the level.
Mm-hmm. Imagine that.
The insurance policy, sure, gets $250K
Yeah.
in insurance. That part's normal. What was hinky is that the policy had gone into effect 9 months before Renette actually died.
Okay, so brand new.
It also had a double indemnity clause,
Ooh.
which means it pays double
Mm-hmm.
if she dies in an accident.
Oh, ah.
Yeah, so $500,000
Yeah.
just for an accident. As for the family property, it's a little bit more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
When Renette's mom died in 1994, Renette and her two brothers, her two full brothers, Jack and Rick, their half older brother is not involved in this land deal
Okay.
for reasons, drew up a partnership agreement where they would each get a third of the family dairy farm, which at the time was valued at a little over $600,000.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick, actually, the youngest brother, still lived and worked on the property. So it's really only Renette and her brother Jack that don't do any work on the property, but they still have this financial stake.
Yeah.
Right? So this agreement meant that each sibling had a piece of the property which was valued at about $250,000, in addition to any profit sharing from the dairy farm. And in this agreement, it was decided that if a sibling died, their property would go to a sibling's spouse.
Mm-hmm.
But the catch being that the spouse had to sell their share, that property back to the surviving siblings and at fair market rate.
Mm-hmm.
And the siblings would have 2 years to come up with the money for whatever the fair market rate of that property is. And this is an agreement that Renette and her brothers drew up. Their respective spouses had to sign off on it, but not in a way that they were going to get anything. You just got to sign off that you agree that this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
We just want you to know about it because we're married to you three,
Yeah.
but you really ain't got no stake in this. We just want you to know.
Mm-hmm.
Peter didn't want to sign this agreement. He didn't like the deal. He didn't like the economics of it.
Okay. The economics of it.
But Renette and her brothers explained this deal is not about economics.
Yeah.
This deal is about keeping this farm and this property in the family.
Yeah.
We really don't give a shit about the economics.
Yeah.
Because if, God forbid, something happened to one of us,
How mad was he about this?
he almost didn't sign it.
Really?
He almost didn't sign it. Because he honestly could not understand, or didn't want to understand, that this partnership agreement with the dairy farm was not about money. They just wanted to create a legal framework that would ensure that the property would be passed down through the generations in a fair way.
Yes.
Without having to rely on wills and estates and trusts. They just felt like a partnership agreement was
Yeah.
a better way to pass the property on
Sure.
than relying on estate planning,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Just a different business framework for it. And he's like, but I don't like the money.
Oh, well. It's not yours.
But I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like it.
Mm.
Eventually he signed, but
Yeah.
he was never happy about it.
Seems very bitter.
He is, actually. So when Renette's mother died, Peter thought that him and Renette were $250,000 richer.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't. Because all that did was transfer a third of the property to Renette like a little bit sooner. Like, it didn't mean anything.
Yeah. They're not selling it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And Peter was pissed about it. The only money that Peter and Renette got from that property after Renette's mom died was Renette's third of the rent receipts from the farmers that they rented property to.
Yay, that's an investment.
So in addition to their actual family dairy farm, they also rent acreage out to other farmers.
Well, I guess they sell cheese and stuff.
Yeah, right. So they got their dairy business, and whatever milks, meats, and cheeses come out of that, Renette gets a third of that.
Yeah, that's a good investment.
Also, the family rents out their acreage, some of their acreage, not all of it, to other farmers at about $150 an acre per month. So she gets a third of those receipts, too.
Nice.
Both nice investments. Sure, it's a couple coins in your pocket every year.
Yeah.
But Peter's like, no. I want the fucking property. I want to be able to wheel and deal with this property.
I want to auction it. Yeah.
Well, because he was like, the land should be sold and invested in something better.
Okay.
Ask me what the better is.
What is the better?
Antiques.
Of course.
He does eventually sign off because he has no choice. Everybody's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
The wives, Rick and Jack's wives, are like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Everybody else understands this isn't about money.
No.
But
yeah,
whatever.
he just sounds greedy.
He is. So now that Renette is dead, Peter was probably feeling like he could look forward to getting his hands on that $250K for Renette's share of the property when her brothers brought him out within the next 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as the cops dug through the Bergna's finances, they found out that if Peter and Renette ever divorced, Peter would lose all claims to that property. It's done. So the only way for him to get his hands on that money was for her to die.
Huh.
When the questioning was over, Peter was not arrested. They got a lot of smoke, but no fire.
True. Yeah.
And instead, he was allowed to go home to grieve with his friends and family.
Boo.
Right? How you feel about old Peter?
Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife, and I think he beat her. I don't trust this guy. I think he's awful. He's greedy.
And you should not trust Peter Bergna.
And I'm wondering why he's so greedy. Because, like, the property is worth, like, $250,000.
Yep.
He's getting $500,000 with her,
Insurance.
But this is a guy who could pull it, like, on a good year, could pull in $1 million himself. Why does he need so much money?
I don't know.
It's so weird to me.
I don't want to skip ahead too much, but I will tell you this. That question is never answered.
Dang.
Because everybody's saying the same. Everybody says the same thing about him.
Oh, yeah?
Why?
Yeah.
You grew up with money. You make money.
Yeah.
You got money.
Unless you're so Catholic that you just can't divorce and you want a new life. I don't know.
I have my speculations, but we'll get there. So now we're going to play a game of losers and lies.
Losers and lies. Okay.
So after listening to Peter's versions of events and catching him in so many lies and contradictions and and everything in between. I mean, it made the cops' head spin.
Yeah.
There were so many lies and contradictions.
To our faces. Yeah.
He said that shit with a straight face.
To us.
With no irony.
He thinks we're stupid.
No, he does.
I don't doubt it. Average people like that.
He truly does. So the cops decided, you know what? Let's go do an autopsy on this truck.
Yay! I love autopsies, even on trucks.
We're going to go to the scene of the accident, and we're going to get a truck. They actually end up getting a truck that is almost identical to the F-150 that Peter drove.
Lucky it's such a popular truck.
Yeah, I think it might have been like maybe 6 months off from his model or something.
Yeah.
In a different color, but it's pretty
It's the same truck.
damn near identical to do their reconstructions. They had listened to Peter whine about his loneliness and how he
It's so weird.
but how him and Renette had solved their problems, and the couple's decision not to have kids was mostly on Renette. Peter had always wanted children.
Okay.
And that he was okay with not having kids early in the marriage, but over time he changed his mind, and Renette was resolved to be child-free. You were 35 and 38 when you met.
Yeah.
You knew she was never going to open that factory for anything more than tours.
And regardless, when you knew the answer was no, you should have moved on.
I can't call it, girl. Like, the cops were like, okay, we're going to do this reenactment. We're going to do some things, and we're going to try to get to the bottom of this, because everything he's saying is some bullshit.
Yes, it is.
Well, a few days after the original questioning, the cops decided to bring Peter back for a polygraph. At first, Peter protested. No! Why are you treating me like a criminal, like a commoner, like a thug? Oh my God. Me? Don't you know that I was raised in greatness?
And I'm humble and modest about it.
I'm also a pillar of the community.
Yes.
I coach youth sports, for fuck's sake.
So he resists it, but...
In the end, his dad convinced him.
Okay.
Lou is literally team, Peter, if you ain't do shit and this is an accident, go talk to the people.
Yeah.
Talk to the people, tell them what they want to know, do the thing, just go talk to them. You ain't do nothing, right? Alright, then what the fuck you whining about? Just go talk to the people.
And go do the thing.
Yeah, quit being a bitch, go talk to the people. During the polygraph, it was clear to anyone with eyes and a working brain.
Yes.
No, comatose people would have seen through this shit.
Yes.
The deaf, the blind, and the dumb all would have figured out that Peter is trying to beat the test.
How? How is he doing it?
1 minute, Peter is calm, but when the polygraph examiner has to ask him something important, Peter hyperventilates.
Oh my God, like the Lamas of lies.
Yeah. So it's like...
Limas.
Like, so he'd be like, is Peter Bergna your name? Yes.
Did you kill Renette? Oh my God. God.
Yeah, so if you ask him anything of import, he's damn near hyperventilating. Push, push, push.
No.
Like, that was actually a great joke from Bill Cosby himself. But, he's an asshole, so it doesn't matter anymore.
But I still love, I could quote the whole thing.
That is a great special.
Push,
push.
Push.
That's what he's giving. That is what Peter is giving. That is what Peter Berg is giving. The fucking birthing scene from Bill Cosby himself. That's what he's giving. Anytime you ask him something like, did you lose control of the car? Push. No.
Push.
Like, that's what he's giving.
Oh my God.
It was so bad that even the polygraph examiner wrote down that Peter was trying to beat the test.
Yeah. And being so just obvious about it.
Now, that didn't stop Peter from going to his family and friends like, of course I passed the polygraph.
Oh my god.
Bitch, bye.
That is just dripping with contempt for everyone who was in the room with him.
That obvious.
I mean, bitch, why didn't you just drink a bunch of Mountain Dew? Why didn't you just, like, pop a couple, like, caffeine pills beforehand?
Or some Valiums or something.
Exactly.
Something that's either going to bring you way up or way down.
You just had to do the cheating out loud in front of the...
And you know these cops are looking at him like, what in the fuck?
You really think we're stupid, don't you?
What in the fresh hobbit hell are you doing?
I think they're so mad. They're
Oh.
so mad. I'm gonna nail you now.
Oh, they are very pissed. This case is going to take a little over 2 years to resolve, and I swear to God, it's because he has insulted them to the... He's playing in their faces.
Yeah.
This is the very definition of playing in your face.
Yeah. You might as well just be going, ha-ha, cabas.
It's like, yeah, like when people say you played in my face, this is what they're talking about. This shit right here.
They don't play.
This is playing in their faces, and I don't know anybody that likes it when people play in their face. Nobody likes it when you play in their face.
Insufferable. It is intolerable.
And this is probably one of the more egregious versions of
It
playing in
sounds
somebody's
like
face I've ever seen in my entire life.
You couldn't even fake a panic attack? Asshole.
No.
Boosh.
Boosh. So after the polygraph test, Peter's taken in for another interview.
You bet. I would march his skinny ass into the interview room immediately. We need to talk about this, sir.
Peter's not skinny. He's about average height, about 6 feet. Paint a picture. Probably like 190, 200.
Man size.
Yeah, so man size.
Yeah.
Dark hair, kind of curly, wavy. Big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost buggy eyes.
Oh.
And the fuzziest eyebrows I have ever seen on anyone that's not named Abe Vigoda.
Wow.
But
that
they're
is
dark.
Substantial.
Instead of it being Abe Vigoda. They're white at the end, but
Are they unkempt?
just as unkempt as Abe Vigoda.
Oh, God.
So imagine just going through life with Abe Vigoda eyebrows, but with none of the talent, wit, and charm that comes with being Abe Vigoda.
Just painful averageness and mediocrity.
But Abe Vigoda's eyebrows.
No. I reject this here entirely. I vote you off, Slide Mountain!
Kick him. You should just kick him out.
Kick. Leave the village.
So Peter's second interview after the polygraph is pretty much more of the same.
Yes.
Contradictions, lies, I don't remember this.
Yeah.
But Peter did tell the cops about his brief marriage in the early 80s.
Okay.
And said that it was a fairly friendly divorce, you know, in and out, marriage didn't last long. And throughout, Peter sticks to the story that the brakes failed and swears that he did nothing wrong, and this was all just a tragic accident.
Yeah.
But this time, Peter did have the decency to try to drag some tears out, so well played.
He's like digging his knuckle into his eye socket.
It's not quite Margaret Rudin level masochism where, like, the cops were literally afraid she was going to pop her eye out of her socket.
Yeah.
She was digging so hard. It's not quite that, but we're circling that neighborhood.
Got it.
Like, because Margaret Rudin, when she was trying to fake cry, the cops were afraid for her eyesight. Because she was digging hard. It was like,
I'm gonna find one in there fucking somewhere.
She was digging so hard, the cops were, she's gonna pop an eye.
Let her.
But Peter's not as bad as Margaret, but he is definitely circling the block on that.
Yeah.
While Peter was busy with his polygraph and second interview, there was the autopsy on the truck.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Of course not. That's a great truck. That's what Ford used to make it right.
It's beat to shit because it just fell off of a cliff, but there is nothing...
The brakes are fine.
Right.
There's nothing to indicate that you would lose control of this truck.
Right. Everything wrong with the truck is directly because it crashed off of the cliff.
And his disconnecting.
Yeah, but he admitted to that, so we know that's fine.
Which is so weird to me.
He heard it on NPR, and Jeannie...
It's so weird.
It's on NPR.
It's like he said, like, they're going to autopsy the truck. they're going to find my fingerprints there, so just get out in front of it with this NPR bullshit.
NPR told him that short people...
He did not hear this on Car Talk.
And children.
I will punch him in the throat.
Short people and children can suffer deadly injuries by using an airbag. So he disabled it. But yeah, outside of the obvious damage of the crash, there was nothing wrong with that fucking truck. And like I said, he already admitted to tampering with the airbag, so you kind of have to call that a wash.
Yeah.
And to add to the mystery, the more the cops poked around this bluff, this was a very easily avoidable accident.
Yeah.
So he's coming around the corner, and as you come around this corner where this guardrail is, there is a bluff that overlooks this cliff as you're going downward, right? The bluff overlooking the cliff spans about 400 feet and some change.
Yeah.
Even if you were going weird and wonky, all you had to do was make a left-hand turn.
Yeah. Just kind of donut, yeah.
And you're done. There was plenty of room.
This just doesn't make sense.
To make a left and avoid catastrophe. Why didn't you make a left?
Yeah.
And there is nothing in the sand, in this dirt, in the debris that indicates that he did anything.
Like, no
to course
swerving.
Correct.
Yeah. Just a straight arrow.
Just went right through. And they tried, so Peter gives probably a half dozen different scenarios about how the accident happened. 1 minute he hit the accelerator instead of the brake. Another minute the brakes fail. 1 minute he's taking this corner at 30 miles an hour. Another minute he's taking it at 60. Another minute he's taking it at 45. They try to recreate this accident in every way that Peter says it happened.
Yeah. That's a lot of trucks.
But they're never able to recreate it. Everything that they do...
Gets a different result?
No, all you have to do is make a left-hand turn and it doesn't happen. So every way that Peter says he loses control or something fails, and that throws him through the barricade. They're like, okay, so the brakes fail. Okay, they're failing, left-hand turn, I'm out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, he accidentally hit the accelerator instead of the brake. Oh no, I'm going, left-hand turn, I'm out of it. I was going 20 miles an hour, left-hand turn, I'm out of it.
Yeah. So a smarter lie would be, I lost control of the steering wheel. But the examination wouldn't bear that out.
Right, so they tried every scenario Peter gave them. They made up scenarios of their own. They are never able to recreate this accident the way Peter says it happened. It can't have happened.
Yeah.
Like, so they're coming to the conclusion that he drove this truck through this barricade and got out of the car and then let it go. He wasn't going so fast that he couldn't jump himself to safety.
Yeah.
So he just let it go over.
Yeah.
Is what the conclusion they're coming to. So they're like, all right, he killed her.
Yeah.
We just have to gather enough evidence to prove it.
Yeah.
So now we're going to be on, it's going to be a fact-finding mission for a little, like I said, about 2 years.
Okay.
Because they're going to have to build basically an all-circumstantial case.
Yeah.
Which takes a lot longer to do.
But when you insult the police like that,
I'm
makes
telling
them so
you,
determined.
They are a dog with a bone, and it's because Peter Bergna played in their faces so hard that they're like, no, this will not stand, sir.
They're going to do this with their whole bodies.
You cannot play in my face like that and not expected to be expected not to go to jail. I'm going to get you. Cop's going to give it to you. Going to give it to you. Cop's going to give it to you. Going to give it to you. All right. So now that the autopsy of the truck is done, Peter is done hyperventilating at the polygraph machine
Yes.
and playing in people's faces. In the days and weeks after Renette's death, Peter was the epitome of the grieving husband. He would tell anybody that would listen how sad and lonely he was.
Yes.
His friends rallied around to comfort him in his time of need, with Peter often breaking down over breakfast with friends and staring off into the distance.
Yes, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
I'm so lonely.
Oh my God. He's a mediocre actor, too.
So, immediately following Renette's death, Peter was on fairly good terms with Renette's family, with the Riellas. But over time, let's say within that first week,
Not long.
the Riellas are like, I think Peter staged this accident.
Dang.
Yeah. He killed our sister.
Yeah, that's not much of a grace period.
No, it's like 72 hours max, maybe a week tops, where they're like, no, fuck this guy.
Wow.
When Renette's brother Rick asked about the circumstances of the accident, Peter gave him the same song and dance that he gave the cops about the brakes failing, but maybe I hit the accelerator, or I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
He gave Rick the same half dozen different stories. Never keeping any of them straight. And when it was time to make arrangements for Renette's funeral, it was suggested that they bury Renette in a Catholic cemetery in Reno. Since Incline Village doesn't have a Catholic cemetery. They have a Catholic church, but not a cemetery.
Okay, yeah.
Peter didn't like that idea.
Okay, why?
Well, he doesn't want to bury her in Reno. She liked Incline Village. He wants to bury her in Incline Village. Renette's brother Rick suggested, look, let's not do Incline. Let's bring Renette home.
Oh, nice.
To Central California. Let's bring her back to the dairy farm.
Oh, nice, yeah.
That way she could be laid to rest next to her parents. And then, when you're up for it, Peter, we'll do a second memorial for her friends in Incline Village. She did love Incline Village. She loved living there. She lived there for ages.
Yeah.
So, yes, we should have a memorial in Incline Village, but let's bring her home for burial.
Oh, that sounds like a nice compromise.
It's a very nice compromise. And it would also be the last civil conversation Peter would ever have with his in-laws.
God. Yikes.
The day of the funeral, Peter wore sunglasses.
To hide that he's not crying?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Nobody saw him cry. He just showed up in sunglasses. Dry. It was dry.
Oh God, the gall.
Eyes as dry as the Sahara.
Man.
Some of Peter and Renette's friends showed their entire ass. All of their friends are scum.
Well, they do live in a gated community.
These people complained about having to drive to Central California for this woman's funeral.
Okay, all right. Then they're not good friends.
They're supposed to be her friends.
Yeah.
But they complained about having to drive to her hometown for her funeral.
Well, then don't go to the funeral. Wait for the memorial.
Yeah!
If it's that big a deal.
Nobody made you come.
Right?
But you just showed your whole entire ass grousing at these people's... Because they have like a family plot on the family property.
Yeah.
It's where mom and dad are buried.
Yeah.
It's where grandma and grandpa are buried.
Yeah.
Eventually this is probably going to be a whole Ranella thing, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to complain that you had to drive 3 hours to put this woman to rest? Your friend. Your friend. You swore you love your friend. But you're complaining that you had to drive a couple of hours to put her to rest next to her family?
I know. The complete lack of class it takes to complain at a funeral for any reason. You just wait until, you've left the family. Just bitch at the Denny's.
Okay. Christ almighty.
Bitch when you get home for the nightcap, you know?
It's like, dude, just wait for... They said they were going to do a thing in Incline Village. Wait for that.
Yeah, you bums.
That's just so nasty to me. That's what Renette ain't have real friends. Sadly.
Not there. No wonder she wanted to move to Italy.
Yeah. At the church, Peter and the Riellas sat on opposite sides of the aisle,
Yeah.
and they did not mix or mingle.
Yeah.
Peter's mom would later say that she and Peter felt like they were left out of the ceremony,
Okay.
and the Riellas took care of everything, and that the whole thing was a bit cold and austere to her.
Okay.
What do you want to bet that Pat Bergna complained about having to drive 3 hours to bury her daughter-in-law?
Yeah.
She wanted it to be an incline village.
That would be more convenient.
Or
for
Santa
me.
Clara, places that she likes.
Yeah.
Bitch. I don't even know that woman like that, but I swear to God.
Snob.
But, Pat Bergna's trying to be understanding. Whatever. After the services, Renette's brothers were reluctant to hug Peter.
Yeah.
And when the service was over, middle brother Jack told Peter, you know what? You should go home now.
We're done with you.
He did not extend an invitation to Peter, his mother, or their friends
Nor should he.
They had some sort of like a reception.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you go talk about us behind our back?
Like good Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us grieve in
Don't
peace,
do it in front of us.
you jackals. Just complaining about this, where you had to go for this woman's funeral.
I know. It's so incredibly rude. I don't understand.
And it's just so trashy to me.
Yeah, it really is.
Talk behind their backs like good Americans.
Animal.
Good Americans talk behind people's backs, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, while nobody said anything on the record, I do suspect that by this time the Mandelas are like, yeah, no.
You did it. Yeah.
And that's why they were like, why don't you just go home?
Yeah, before we kill you.
I mean,
It had to be hard.
if that's what we're doing,
Yeah.
this is a farm.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dangerous equipment that could cause an accident.
Exactly.
If that's what we
We
doing.
can hide you in a bale of hay.
I'm just saying, if that's what we're doing,
Yo.
we can do that. Because farms are dangerous places. A few days later, that's right, these people had to wait like less than a week to get their Incline Village memorial while they over there bitching about having to go to her hometown.
Trash.
They had the Incline Village memorial at a local country club.
Ew.
I know, why go to a tiny farm church
Exactly.
and to a farm and to a dairy farm
This
to bury
is
her?
our social event. Get on our level. I hope she haunts them. I hope she haunts that village. I hope she ages them all. I hope their skin is damaged.
Right, it's her death. It's their moment.
Yeah. Ugh.
I hope they all get melanomas.
Yes.
The kind of cancer that may not kill you, but is tedious.
Exactly.
Because I don't want the karma of wishing people death. So melanomas,
Right, yeah.
they can get rid of that.
Patchy skin.
Peter was a lot more relaxed on his home turf, greeting his guest. He was just, I'm so glad you came.
Do you know how lovely I am?
Yes. Actually, they all do, because that's really literally all he ever talks about.
Oh, don't tell me he's looking for single ladies.
Oh, we'll get there.
Oh, no. So gross.
Renette's old boss from the tour guide company found Peter's behavior disturbing
Yeah.
at the memorial. When she got there, she gave Peter a hug. She was so sorry for his loss. And during lunch, Renette's boss told Peter that she needed to use a fax machine. She was still working, of sorts.
Yeah.
And she needed to fax some immigration paperwork for an upcoming tour. So, where's the Kinko's or wherever so I can do this? And Peter's like, oh, there's no need for you to pay or to go to a Kinko's or anything like that. Come home with me. Just come over to my house. Or jump in your car. I'll show you the directions. And you can use the fax machine inside my office.
Straightforward enough.
So, when she's getting ready to get into her car to go over to the Bergna house to send her faxes, she noticed that Peter was wearing a boot.
Okay.
Hadn't been wearing a boot earlier,
Oh, yeah?
but now he's wearing a boot.
Weird.
Oh, we're really driving the sprained ankle home.
Yeah.
We're
I know, but it's so weird that he's choosing this moment to be really like, owie. Look at my owie.
injured.
Yeah.
It hurts me. But whatever. So Peter said that the sprain wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah, because it isn't sprained. Yeah.
I think he just dug it up somewhere.
Yes.
and he said that, the sprain wasn't that bad, but he wished he had broken his neck.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Of all the melodrama. Drama queen.
And Renette's boss thought it was weird that Peter didn't say anything along the lines of, like, why couldn't it have been me?
Mm-hmm.
I would have broken my own neck if it would have saved Renette.
Yeah.
I don't know, the things that you expect a loving spouse to say.
Yeah.
But she let that go, because she's like, this is weird, but everybody grieves differently.
True.
So you just let it go. So eventually Peter and Renette's boss jump in her car, and she drives back to Peter's house,
Mm-hmm.
and he takes her through the house to show her where the fax machine is at.
Yeah.
When they get to the house, Peter is actually more concerned about making small talk and showing off his antiques.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
As they walk through the house,
Yeah.
you know, they had a mutual friend in common, so he's like, oh, what about so-and-so? Did you see about this? Oh, and here's my Van Gogh, here's my this, here's my that.
Very normal.
And then while they were chatting, Peter put his arms around her shoulder, pulled her in close,
No.
and told her, if you ever need a place to stay in Incline Village, I'm here for you.
Ew. Oh my god, my skin would be crawling so hard.
You can stay as long as you like.
No. No.
You're always welcome in my home.
The projectile vomit right in his face. It is so gross and inappropriate and terrifying. If I was going to, like, the house of a dude who's just buried his wife, and he's like, make yourself at home, I'd be like, bad touch, bad touch.
She was screaming internally. She
Yes.
sent her fax and she fucked right the fuck up out of there.
Oh, that is, what a creep. I don't know, there's just something about his crying about how lonely he is. It's like you only know how to get pity fucks or something.
Basically,
That's his strategies, pity.
Oh, it is. Her internal alarm went off.
Yes.
She sent her fucking fax. She dropped him off at that country club and said she had to go.
Bye. I'm going to Europe and I'm never coming back.
I mean, she'll probably come back to the U.S. but she sure as shit ain't coming to go see him. Well, she was like, "Oh, I gotta go to Reno.
Yeah,
anywhere. I gotta get your flight.
Yeah.
Because Reno's the closest airport to Incline
Yeah.
Village. So she's like, oh, sorry, gotta go. Gotta catch a flight.
Yeah.
On her way back to the airport, Renette's boss decided that she was going to go visit the accident site.
Oh, wow. He was such a creep. She's going to check it out.
Yeah. And while she was there, because, I mean, it's Incline Village is not a good place. Everybody knows exactly where this went.
Mm-hmm.
There was police tape. It's a easily accessible area.
Yeah.
You know. And the whole time Renette's boss was up there, she felt weird.
Mm.
She was looking around, and she started thinking, Renette was just coming home for a trip to Europe.
Yes.
That included 2 training tours on the continent.
Yeah.
And 1 solo tour in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Renette would have been fucking exhausted.
Yes!
And she probably would not have been in a mood to stop at some quasi-romantic overlook to talk about her floundering marriage.
Right?
No, like, seriously, you could have that conversation at home.
Yeah.
The next day.
Exactly.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
And her boss was like, oh, this gives me the heebie-jeebies. I gotta, I gotta go.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't blame her. That is creepy.
Back at the memorial, Peter was kind and gracious to his family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And he continuously complained about how lonely I'm gonna be without Renette.
Will someone comfort me?
Preferably with your pussy. Well, you see, he was already lonely because of her traveling, and now that loneliness is gonna be permanent. Oh my God.
He's just laying it on thick.
Man.
Like, thick, 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 thick.
But Peter's not as lonely as he would let you think.
Oh.
In late May of 1998, right before Renette was supposed to come home from her trip, right? So she died on June 1st, so let's say this is like May 25th or something,
Okay.
right? Like literally the week before she comes home. Peter went to a retirement party for a local principal. He's a sports guy. He's always at the
that makes
school.
sense.
But while he was there, he brought the mood down by telling anybody he would listen that he missed his wife. Oh, yeah, no, it's a great party, but I don't have a +1.
Yeah.
Renette's traveling again.
I'm so sad and lonely.
Sad and lonely, sad and lonely. Won't come, sweet mama. Come and take a chance with me. 'Cause I ain't so bad.
But you are.
But you are, Blanche. You are. At one point in the party, Peter went over to the bar where two women he was friendly with were tending bar. The women that are tending bar are parents at the school, but part of the working class that keeps Incline Village going.
Yeah.
Which is why they're tending bar of the principal's retirement party.
Yes.
And at one point he goes over to those two women and he's like, Lisa, you know my wife is traveling again.
Be like, just like polishing a glass. Yep,
woozy, woozy, woo.
Yeah.
Now, at first they thought he had been drinking. They're like, all right,
Yeah.
drunk. But they didn't smell any booze on him.
Oh, God. Sober self-pity. Jesus Christ.
It's like, oh, this is you. This is just how you are.
Ugh.
Then he started telling the women that all he really wanted in life was a woman, a wife, who could stay home and give him children. And just be there for me. Woe is me. Oh, woe is it, woe is it. I'm so sad alone.
Oh my God. It's like, put a cork in it.
No. He's been lying forever.
Mm-hmm.
The women working the bar are like, this is weird and inappropriate. I don't want to talk about your marriage.
It's so unattractive.
Well, he's not attractive anyway, but this makes it worse.
It is repulsive, though. But that is repulsive.
But people who know Peter, people that count themselves among his friends, say that this was just Peter's awkward way of socializing.
Okay. Really awkward.
They try to justify his creepy behavior by, because he's one of 4 adopted siblings, he's bad at socializing.
Okay.
That ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China, but sure, here we are. They also point to his involvement with youth sports, and sometimes he's more comfortable interacting with young people than he is with adults. They're making excuses for him being weird. They are trying
for
it.
The stars.
They were trying it. They even pointed to the fact that Peter spent so much time with a buddy that had 8 kids as proof positive that he always wanted to be a father.
Be that as it may, it doesn't make you weird.
It shouldn't make you weird.
No.
It should not, but...
Wanting kids shouldn't make you a whiny, crying, pitiful mess.
But, so sad and lonely. Now, Peter did acknowledge that wanting kids was a bone of contention in his marriage. He did understand that it was unsafe for Renette to be pregnant. I think she had some issues with her lady bits.
Yeah.
Some fertility issues and just
and also at that age, it's going to be higher risk anyway.
Exactly. So just, like I said, if she ain't opened the factory by now, she ain't got it.
Yeah, move on.
It's available for tours.
Or divorce her. You've done it before. You know how to divorce.
Yeah. Renette's factory is available for tours. But it produces nothing.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, but he's an adoptee, so he was open to adopting. And Renette was like, no, I do not want children.
Yeah.
You go on, play at school. Go.
Yeah.
Play with your friends' kids. Go. Deal with them crumb snatchers. Quit looking at me.
Yeah.
And so before Renette died, they had settled this particular disagreement about growing their family. And Renette was like, no kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And that made Peter even more lonesome than ever because he didn't have a wife or children to look after.
Get a dog.
No, a dog would run away.
From him, yeah.
A dog is sentient and knows how to fend for itself.
Yeah.
A cat would run away. A dog would run away.
Yeah, true. A bird would fly away.
Yeah. Now, as the cops looked deeper into Peter, they found that while Renette was in Europe...
Sorry.
They looked deeper into
The
Peter.
14-year-old boy in me is like, deeper into Peter. Okay, got it out. I got it out.
Renette was on her training tours in Europe. Peter had asked out a bank manager that he had worked with.
Mm-hmm.
It was a woman named Janet.
Damn it, Janet.
Not going to go out with you.
No.
Peter had asked Janet's manager, like, is she married or what?
Oh. Okay.
Like, is she married? Is she seeing anybody? Yeah. I'm thinking, my wife's out of town. I'm asking her out to a movie. What do you think? That bank manager said, you need to get into trouble on your own.
Exactly. I'm not going to facilitate an affair. It's none of my business.
You get into that. No, my brother, you have to get into that trouble on your own.
All by yourself.
So, the bank manager's like, fuck that. The cops also found out that on May 30th, 1998, so 2 days?
Yeah.
31 days in May, yeah. But 2 days before Renette dies.
Mm-hmm.
Peter had gone to a surprise party for his friend Teresa, 40th birthday party. Teresa and Peter had been friends for 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. He knew her through the youth sports thing. Her kid was on one of the teams. He had been her soccer coach. And because they were both involved at school sports, they were friendly. They had lunch together on occasion, yada yada. Yeah. Peter got to the party early, so him and the other guests could jump out and surprise Teresa at the restaurant. Mm. And while they were waiting, Peter started chatting up a blonde named Brenda. Peter asked Brenda if she was married. Mm-hmm. Brenda said no, she's single, 2 kids. Mm-hmm. But Brenda had to step away from that conversation because she was part of the ruse for the birthday girl. Mm-hmm. So she's like, all right, I gotta go get Teresa. Sorry. Yeah. See you later. Well, she's walking away from Peter. He decided to chat up her friend Audrey. Okay, Brenda's leaving. Audrey, you'll do. Yes. During that conversation, Audrey said that Peter told her that he was an art appraiser and invited her to come to his house to see his collection. Oh. I feel like I have this memory of being a little kid in the 80s and hearing people in different sitcoms saying shit like, do you want to come see my etchings? Yeah. And somehow instinctively knowing that was code for doing the grown up.
Exactly. It was the Netflix and chill of its era.
Yeah, you want to come see my etchings.
Come look at my artworks.
Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah. I was
or come up for coffee.
Yeah, what in the 1990s? I'm like, no, but the etchings things died in the 80s, right?
I know, right?
Because I feel like the Let's Come See My Etchings is very 80s sitcom.
It is. Yes.
But he's doing the equivalent of that. Mm-hmm. Come see my art. Since it was going to be some time for Brenda and Teresa to come back to the restaurant, Audrey's like, I ain't got shit else to do. They're going to be at least half hour, 40 minutes. Peter lives just around the corner. Fuck it. I'll go see some art. I like art. Yeah. So they were at Peter's house for about 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And starting with the living room, Peter was showing her more and more art, fancy wine. Mm-hmm. The tour of the museum that is his home. Okay. Leads all the way down to the basement. Because that's where his fancy wine is at. Mm-hmm. Audrey recalls Peter being polite and nice for the most part. But he stayed too close to her. Ugh. Almost hovering.
Ew. Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
And when he spoke to her, he looked her in the eyes for too long. Peter's too interested in what she does. And she's like, oh shit, we gotta go back to the restaurant, don't we? Oh, we can't be late. We gotta jump on the sweet surprise.
Why did I go to this guy's house?
So, they go back to the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
They surprise Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
Well played. A good time is had by all.
Yay.
And then after the dinner, the party goes to a local nightclub where everybody's dancing.
Yeah.
Everybody's having a good time. Peter invited Audrey to hang out with him on the patio, where he asked her out to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, because you're married.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back in and dance with everybody now.
Yeah. Get away from me.
Oh, no, he tried to dance only with Audrey.
Oh, God. Very single-minded of him.
Yeah.
You are my chosen one. I've chosen you.
Like, it was so bad that Audrey's friends ran interference
Wow.
to make Peter leave her alone.
Jesus.
Because everybody's just dancing in groups, and he's being real persistent about this being a couple's dance. So a bunch of her girlfriends just came over with
yes. Good friends.
And just spirited her away.
Good.
After Renette died, Peter wasted almost no time in shooting a shot with Janet and Audrey.
Oh my God. Creep.
Renette was in the ground for 4 weeks.
Jesus. Gross.
Before Peter called Janet and asked her out in June of 1998. So he doesn't really know Janet, right? Like, he knows her professionally.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have any of her personal details.
Yeah, they're not in the same social circle.
Right. So he had to call her office and asked her out to a movie.
Oh my God.
Now, everybody in Incline Villages knows what happened to his wife.
Yeah.
And she was grossed the fuck out that he would hit her up for a date.
Yeah.
And that woman is barely cold in the ground.
I know. And calling me at work,
Yeah.
I'd be so pissed. Grossed out, pissed. Yeah.
Like, blah, blah.
Yeah, get the fuck away.
4 weeks.
Creep.
Rita don't even have time to roll over in her grave. It happened so fast.
Yeah.
So, okay. He strikes out with Janet. So now he's going to try his luck again with Brenda. Now, because this is immediately, like, after the accident,
Yeah.
he approaches Brenda on crutches. With a sprained foot.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Pity me. Pity me.
Peter limped into Brenda's bank office and started telling her about the accident and how he'd been thrown from the truck during impact. He never talked to Brenda about how much he missed his wife or anything like that. Although he did he didn't like the way that the cops were questioning him and treating me like a criminal.
Oh my God.
And he was frustrated that they were taking so long to clear him.
I would be so freaked out.
You hyperventilated
Yeah.
on the polygraph. And yet you complain that they're taking too long to clear you.
But just imagine someone limping into your office and telling you about, I was in this terrible accident, and, well, how are you? And
So, you want to go to dinner? Want to come over and see my etchings?
I know, and the cops are looking at me, and I don't think they should be. I'll be like, panic button, you know?
Really though.
That is so weird.
Well, this time he invited Brenda over to see his art collection.
Ugh.
Because he's got etchings. That's what he's got. He got no game, but he got etchings.
Yeah. I don't think, yeah.
If you're asking people to just randomly come see your art collection, you've got no game.
Yeah.
No game.
Yeah.
All you got is fancy wine and some paintings.
Look at my stuff. Isn't it neat?
So after that initial meeting, anytime Brenda came by to visit Teresa, who's a mutual friend, Peter was there. He would just see Brenda's car at Teresa's house and turn up.
Oh.
Teresa would mention in passing, oh yeah, me and Brenda are going to go do a thing.
Yeah.
Peter would show up.
Stalker. Stalking.
Now, Brenda didn't take it seriously. Because she's like, look, Teresa's a mutual friend. If you just want to come roll with the girls, that's you just being a weirdo.
Yeah.
She wasn't looking at it like Peter's a stalker. She's like, I'm here for Teresa. Teresa knows Peter.
Yeah.
If he just wants to,
I know. We know too much, though.
Yeah. He's like, if he just wants to come along for mani-pedi in a movie,
Yeah.
fuck
He's
it.
just a pest. Yeah.
However, Brenda did hang out with Peter a bit over the 4th of July that year at a beach party in Tahoe because Peter offered to babysit her little kid while they were there.
I need a break. Yeah, it's hard being a single mom.
So Brenda was like, bet. You watch the kid, I'm going to go party.
All right.
And that's what happened. And so she, she was thankful for the free babysitting because that way she could go get hammered and party. Mm-hmm. Although she did not like the way Peter lamented that, oh, my wife never wanted to give me children.
Oh, I know. Broken record.
And that's why she had to go drink.
Yeah. I don't blame her. Like, oh, this again.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna go get drunk now.
Yeah.
And it's the only way I can deal with
you. I'm just playing that tune again.
Peter's lame ass attempts to be a player from the Himalayas got him nothing. Nothing. Not puss to first.
Yeah. Well, because all roads lead to self-pity.
Yeah. He couldn't even, not a whiff, not a sniff, not a look, not puss to first.
Yeah.
All of this. But it was starting to cause problems in his friend group.
Ah. Good.
Teresa, and it's causing problems, but what problems it's causing are different depending on who you ask.
Okay.
Some friends are just kind of like, his grief brings down the party. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing you can do. You just gotta let him go through it.
Yeah.
Teresa is of the mind that Brenda is trying to hit on Peter.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And that she thought that it was wrong of Brenda to push up on somebody.
Yeah.
That had lost their wife so recently. That is not what's happening. But this is...
Nope. Not the least.
Teresa also disapproved at the way Brenda would let Peter just watch her kid while she partied. I'm gonna let her have it.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It is irresponsible.
I'm still letting her have it.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do anything to the kid.
One would hope not.
There is...
It's not wise.
Even though I think it's weird for somebody that does not have children to be so involved in youth sports, there is nothing about him that says he's
True.
going to hurt a child.
He's a lot of things, but he's not that.
Right. So, if I'm a single mom, and this asshole that keeps trying to push up on me wants to babysit my kid to try to impress me, and I know that my kid is safe, and I can go have 2 extra drinks, and I don't know, flash somebody on a boat or something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm letting Brenda have it. Take the free babysitting. That's me. When they hung out, Peter would often tell Brenda about the accident and that he had asked Renette for a divorce, but Renette had refused because she didn't want to look like a failure in front of her friends and family.
Okay. Sure.
Peter also complained about money.
Weird. Why?
Well, it wasn't fair that he still had to make payments on Renette's Chevy Blazer even though she's dead, for one.
That's not how it works.
Also, he was whining about having cash problems now that he's down to a single income. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind that even though Peter is a freelancer and he is down to a single income, he still makes over $100,000 a year.
That makes me wonder.
Him and Renette
Why do you need so much money?
Antiques. Him and Renette have several $100,000, if not millions of dollars in the bank. Mm-hmm. He ain't hurting.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
But he's bothered about being on one income.
Yeah. Well, he didn't have to be on one income. That's totally on him.
He also complained that the police were taking too long to clear his name. It's been 6 weeks since the accident.
Yeah.
And then after the 6-week mark, Peter asked Brenda if her and her kid wanted to come to his house to see his art collection and soak in the hot tub.
Oh, God. Brenda, say no.
She said yes.
Oh, God damn it, Brenda.
Now, keep in mind, Brenda is a single mom, and she is on the worker side of Incline Village. Mm-hmm. She's a bank teller.
Yeah, but this is a creep.
He is a creep, but I also kind of don't begrudge her wanting a nice thing. Yeah. I don't begrudge her for oh, God.
Yeah.
Free babysitting, a nice steak dinner with my kind of also ran friend. Mm-hmm. Her brain isn't he's hitting, because she's not seeing him in that light.
Mm-hmm.
So it is weird sometimes how, like, when you don't see, like, I'm bad at flirting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
I do not see where people are trying to come on to me.
Okay.
When I'm not in that state.
Yeah.
I am much better at recognizing flirting and when somebody's trying to get a little busy.
Yeah.
When I'm single.
Yeah.
In a relationship, I don't see it because that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm giving Brenda too much grace, but Brenda doesn't see Peter in any sort of romantic or sexual light.
Yeah.
He is just a friend of a friend. So, friend of a friend that likes to hang out with kids and wants to have, oh, God, I get out of my 2-bedroom apartment, I get to soak in a nice hot tub, have a nice dinner and grown-up conversation while my kid watches movies. It's actually not a bad night.
Yeah.
So she takes him up on the offer. Peter makes some steaks, they open some wine, and after dinner, they settle Brenda's little girl into the living room to watch some movies that she had brought over. She brought all of her Disney DVDs or whatever. Now, this part is creepy. And now Brenda's alarm bells are starting to ring. Because when Peter turned on the TV, the Playboy channel was on.
Oh, gross.
And all of its
juvenile.
In all of its soft porn glory.
Yeah.
Now, I can't confirm or deny this, but I think this is Peter's poor attempt at flirtation.
I think so. I mean, what does he do to get attention? Like, oh, my ankle, oh, I'm so lonely. Of course he's going to try to, like, entice a woman and excite her with, like, oops, porn.
Softcore porn.
There is that part of me.
Oh, somebody's humping somebody's belly button.
It is very what would happen in a Playboy Channel movie.
And when Brenda
invite the girlfriend over, she sees, and then she's like, activated.
Brenda was like, ugh.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point where you grab the kid and go.
Peter was like, I'm sorry, but I have needs.
Ew.
So Peter gave Peter a look and was like, okay, let's just put this Disney DVD in for my kid.
Yeah. Ugh.
And kept it pushing. So after about an hour or so of movies, Brenda's little girl falls asleep. Great. So kid is asleep. Peter's like, want to hit the hot tub now that the kid's in bed? Great. They go to the hot tub. They're chit-chatting. And at one point, Peter asks Brenda, get a little closer.
No.
Don't be shy.
I will be.
And she's like, no, I'm good where I'm at.
Right? You stay there.
So since she wouldn't move closer to him, Peter moves closer to her.
Ew.
She moves away. He moves closer.
Oh,
he moves away. He moves closer. So now they've done like 6 rotations around this fucking hot tub, right?
Very Pepe Le Pew.
It is, and it's so that. Because every time he moves close, she moves. So there's only so many rotations around this hot tub that you're going to take.
Imagining the water sloshing out from the velocity.
It's just hilarious. And she's like, no, I'm good. Scoot, scoot. Scoot, scoot. Scoot, scoot. Scoot, scoot. And they're just going around and around and around.
Yeah.
At one point, though, Peter does catch up with her, and he puts his arm around her shoulder and grabs a boob.
Oh, God.
That's when Brenda yelled at him to stop, and Peter was like, well, what's the fucking problem, man? Brenda told him to fuck right the fuck off. She jumped out of that hot tub, grabbed her baby, and got ready to go. She didn't even, like, change out into but she was just out.
Yeah. It's so juvenile.
Sensing that he's in trouble,
Yes.
Peter tried to give Brenda a set of Renette's golf clubs.
Parting gift to buy your silence.
Yeah, so Peter knew that Brenda's 10-year-old daughter was learning how to play golf, and she was about Renette's size, about 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
So this would be a good set for this little girl to have.
Yeah.
And Brenda's like, shouldn't you give this to Renette's family?
Yeah.
I don't want to give my daughter a dead woman's golf club.
It's so creepy.
Like, the boob thing was gross and weird, but you're just making it worse. Please stop. Please stop.
Mm-hmm.
Please just let me be on my way.
Yeah.
He wouldn't hear it. He had her pop the trunk and he loaded those golf clubs in.
Just run for it. Run for it, Brenda.
And he's like, I gotta start getting rid of Renette's stuff. So here, no, take the here's your parting gift for me sexually harassing you.
Yeah.
A few days after the hot tub incident, Peter sent Brenda a card to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
She friend zoned him. She was like, look, we've got too many mutual friends to make this hella bad.
Yeah.
So let's just friend zone it.
Yeah.
And leave it at
Good
that.
for you, Brenda. Get the fuck away from him.
And I'm sure he tried this with many, many, many other women.
Yeah.
It just never worked.
Yeah. It's just so fucking pathetic.
Well, it never works when somebody asks you to go see their etchings.
I know, right?
Never. So by the tail end of 1998, Peter is starting to notice that his friends are walking away from him. He's getting nasty looks on the street, dirty looks at his favorite restaurants.
Small towns, they will gossip.
Long-term friends are not returning his phone calls. And Peter is pissed and disappointed that people are turning their backs on him.
This was not according to my plan.
The few people that did stay close to him said that he was depressed around this time. I don't give a shit if he's depressed. Depression is the exact right reaction to killing your wife and
not getting your way.
Yeah, and being ostracized. So I'm fine with him being shunned socially. Also, he's the type of person that I feel like shunning him socially is very effective.
Yes.
He is so concerned with social standing and how people see him and the situation and looking like a good guy and an upstanding dude.
I mean, from his point of view, like, everyone should be falling all over themselves, comforting him, and he should be the center of attention, the widow. Oh, my wife died tragically, and I'm lonely, lonely, lonely.
And everybody's like, ugh.
Yeah. Like, you're creepy, creepy, creepy.
Also, she's been dead over 6 months now. It's the end of 1998, so she's been dead a while. He still isn't cleared by the police. Why?
Exactly. And small towns will fucking talk.
So yeah, he is upset. But of all of the relationships to sour, the worst was with the Riella family.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm sure that curdled.
From nearly the beginning, the Riellas had suspected that Peter had staged the accident that killed Renette. They didn't believe Peter's story about being thrown from a window, and they felt that his inability to remember key moments of the accident.
Yeah.
Did he brake? Did the brakes fail? Did he accelerate? I don't know how I got thrown from the truck. I just got thrown from the truck.
Yeah.
It's all grade A bullshit.
Yeah.
And as dairy farmers, they know bullshit when they see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yes. They are experts.
They are very familiar with the machinations of a cow pie.
Yeah.
So as 1998 is coming to a close, the Riellas are taking stock of every single annoying thing that Peter has ever done in his decade-long marriage to Renette. And looking at it under a much more sinister light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the time Peter threw a fit in an airport because Renette had the nerve to hyphenate her last name on some customs paperwork. The nerve.
Okay.
The unmitigated gall.
Yeah, that's weird.
Then there was that one time in Italy where Peter freaked out because Renette borrowed $20 from her brother to buy a knick-knack.
That is weirdly controlling.
Well, so, whatever it was cheap.
Yeah.
$20.
Yeah.
Renette didn't have any cash.
Mm-hmm.
She asked her brother for it.
Yeah.
So when they get back to their hotel or whatever, and Renette says, hey, Peter, will you give Rick $20? Because I borrowed it from him to get this thing.
Yeah.
Peter refused. Peter's like, no, that's your $20. It's your finances. That's your problem. I'm keeping my finances separate on this trip. Not my monkey, not my circus.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
I know, that's such a weird... He has such a weird issue around money.
It's like...
It doesn't make sense. Like, what... Who... show me on the doll where money touched me. It's like, why is there so much trauma around money?
Where did the money hurt you?
Where did the Monopoly man touch you? What happened?
It's just so weird because I'm like... Okay,
It is weird.
Like, I've done the same thing. Like, I've wanted a thing, and I didn't have any extra cash on me.
Yeah.
And the thing didn't have card.
Yeah.
And I've been like, hey, can I get $20?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, ask my boyfriend or somebody, oh, give my dad $20
Yeah.
because I gave him... It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but that is such a weird reaction to be like, no, I'm keeping my... The finances are separate. I refuse to pay for you. Was she... She was the bigger breadwinner. I know he would have bonanza years, but I'm wondering if he's like a little jealous of like you bring in much more money.
I think she is the more consistent breadwinner.
Yeah,
they both make
or
really.
She's refused to buy an antique or something.
Yeah, I think they both make really good money, but because he is a freelancer and the antiques business being what it is, I do think his income fluctuates a lot more than hers does. So hers is more of a steady up.
Yeah.
Where even though he's not ever gonna make too much less than $100,000, I'm sure he's had bad years.
Yeah. Or he obviously wants more.
Yeah, but he's also had bumper crops.
Yeah.
You know? But they're not hurt. Either way, they're not hurting.
Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird.
Then there was this other time Peter didn't like the pasta that was being served for dinner. And he just, like, got to the dinner table at Christmas and was like, fuck!
Just, like, a full-on tantrum?
Because he didn't like the pasta at dinner.
That the Italians are making you shut the fuck up. You
right?
Eat it. You eat it, you bitch.
I guarantee you, like, they haven't gone, like, full Italian-American yet. I guarantee you whatever they're making is some old world shit.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah.
Like...
It is fresh. From on the farm.
Okay.
I thought it was exquisite.
That is the best ricotta.
Yes. Freshest.
They're probably making their own mozzarella in that bitch.
Yeah, their own tomatoes. Everything. Maybe they might have even made their own pasta.
Yeah. But...
That is such a childish reaction.
But your reaction to this big,
weird.
Beautiful Christmas lunch is...
Yeah. Just be a child. It's weird. He's like, yeah. Why all the Arrested Development? I don't get it.
Now, in hindsight, Renella's brothers found Peter to be condescending.
Yeah.
And a bit of an asshole. They started to realize that Peter looked down on Renette and, by default, them. Because, you know, he comes from greatness.
Yeah.
His dad's a district attorney.
Yeah.
What's your dad ever done?
Yeah.
Work a farm?
Yeah.
And so, like, when Rick and Jack tell their stories about how Peter was an asshole throughout his marriage to Renette, they're the kind of little things that in the moment you let go. Yeah. Because your sister is happy. Yeah. And you don't gotta live with him.
Exactly.
She's willing to put up with this bullshit. You can go home at the end of the night. You don't gotta live with this.
Yeah, he's just kind of a nerd every now and then.
He's a pill.
Yeah.
But now that she's dead, it's starting to look a little more fucked up.
Yeah. It's all adding up now.
Like, he looks down on them for being farm people. Because the Riellas are just nice people. Yeah. And I don't know lots of farmers, but the handful that I've met, even when they got money, they seem to be very down to earth.
Yeah, because they get involved. They actually do work hard.
Right. And then they started to notice that Peter always needs to be the center of attention. He always stands a little too close to people. He talks a little too loud. He needs a little too much.
Yeah.
But all the Riellas knew was that after Renette died, Peter's stories are not adding up.
Yeah.
So any resentment that they had about how he treated their sister or their thoughts about that relationship are just building and building in the wake of her death. After the funeral, Peter didn't do anything to endear himself to the Riellas.
Yeah.
About a month after Renette's service, her brother Rick drove up to Incline Village to get some heirlooms that Renette had taken with her after their mother died.
Yeah.
When Rick got to the house, he was shooketh.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every trace of Renette had been removed from the home.
Get cold. Brr.
Like, that is
insulting.
Yeah. I know widows whose partner has been dead nigh 20 years and they still can't let go of that person's clothes.
Aw, yeah.
Shoes or trinkets or knickknacks. And he's just like, well, she's gone a month.
I know. Yeah.
4 weeks. Get it all out.
Yeah, that's not normal.
No.
At all.
Give these golf clubs to this random little girl after I've sexually harassed her mother.
And Loki sexually harassed the little girl.
Oh, yeah. She was
like, I don't think it was his plan. I don't think he's into that, but still, dude.
But you still put on the Playboy channel probably with the intent to try to seduce the mother.
Yeah.
And you didn't give a shit if the kid was there or not, because it was more important for the mother to see, like, half a titty on the Playboy channel.
Side boob.
Like, she don't got a pair of her own that she can look at. She just wants to see titties. It's like, seriously. Peter even said that he was planning on selling their wedding china at a Butterfield's auction.
That's just ghoulish.
I honestly think he's greedy. He just wants more antiques.
Yeah. It's weird greed for the sake of greed's sake. I don't know.
Yeah. 3 months after Renette died, Rick made his final trip to Incline Village to get more of Renette's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
On this trip, Rick had to sit down with Peter, and he wanted to have an in-depth conversation about the accident.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want it to be true. He doesn't want that nagging feeling in the back of his mind to be real at all. Every time Rick discussed the accident with Peter, Peter was like, oh, the brakes failed, or I had the sensation of the brakes failing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what they have. I may have accidentally hit the accelerator.
But nothing that actually makes sense.
Right.
Oh.
Again, he's getting a dozen versions.
Yeah. But good on it, Rick, for trying to, like, get to the bottom of it, get closure. Yeah.
He's working on it. When Rick asked Peter why he had newly filled gas cans in his truck with him,
right?
Peter was like, I needed the extra gas for a trip to Vegas.
It's so dumb.
But then he went back to the snowblower story. Again, whichever one you like. I don't know. What do you like? You like Las Vegas trip? Extra gas for a trip through the desert?
What persuades you most?
Or snowblower?
Yeah.
In the middle of June. Which do you like?
He's choose your own adventure in this thing as hard as he can.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Whichever version of that you like better is the version I'm going to see.
You have to have such contempt for, like, the people around you to do that.
Just play it in their faces.
Yeah.
Just play it in everybody's face, and there's like, nothing anybody can do about it.
My God.
Rick walked away from the conversation feeling that his sister's death was no accident.
Yeah.
And if it's not an accident, Peter can't have that property.
Yep. That's this guy.
Yeah. 8 months after the crash, Rick called Peter and told him that things aren't kosher, and we, the Riella family, are going to block you from getting any share of the family land. Mm-hmm. We've already hired attorneys. It's going down.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
And in response, of course, Peter hires his own lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
And within a couple of weeks, Peter and the Riellas are only talking through the attorneys. Nobody's talking to anybody, and we are getting ready for a nasty legal battle.
Oh,
nasty. Oh, it's they're ready to fight.
Yeah.
It is the Tekken of legal battles. Round 2, fight!
Yeah, that is... God, Peter's such a trashy, scumbaggy, sleazebaggy.
But yet Rick
waste of humanity.
But Rick is such a good guy.
Yeah.
Rick is such a good dude that he was like, all right, this legal battle is going to get nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get nasty because both sides are getting ready to dig their heels in.
Yeah, of course.
So he's like, before I bankrupt this farm and this family with all these legal hijinks,
Yeah.
I'm going to try it one more time.
Mm-hmm.
So Rick says that he called Peter and said, we need to get this resolved.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter said, no, I don't think so.
Hmm.
When Rick asked Peter, why don't you want to resolve this? What do you want?
Yeah.
Peter said the Riella family was trying to screw him over by putting some money from the property in an account that Peter couldn't get to.
Like the dairy receipts? What?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're blocking the money from the proceeds from the farm and the rent receipts, keeping him from getting that.
Yeah.
The property is a whole separate matter, but he's decided that they're keeping money from him.
Yeah. Well, they are.
Rick said they weren't.
Mm.
The money did go into a separate account, but it was Renette's account, and her estate still has to go through probate.
Oh, okay.
All that stuff still needs to happen, and all that stuff takes time.
Yeah.
So if Peter can't get his hands on that money, it is not specifically because the Riellas are trying to block him.
He just wants money now, is the thing.
Right.
And he expected, like, you're dead, I get the insurance, I want money now.
Are the Riellas in a rush to give him anything?
Fuck
no. But the probate process and yada yada.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like, outside of this partnership agreement with her brothers, it doesn't seem like Renette had a whole lot of estate planning done.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, no, not that young.
Yeah. So outside of the insurance policy, which is really more about Peter's stuff than anything else.
Yeah.
And this partnership agreement with her brothers, getting her share of the dairy farm profits and the monthly rental receipts from the farm rental property, that shit has to go through probate and whatnot.
Yeah.
It takes as long as it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So the Riellas probably aren't in a rush to give him money, but they're also not going to hurry up the process for him either.
Mm.
So Peter's saying that they're blocking him is just the process taking as long as it takes.
Yeah, and he's just fucking greedy, and he wants satisfaction now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then Peter insisted that not only should he get a third of the property, Renette's third, but that the property was worth a lot more than the $220,000 it had been estimated at.
Mm-hmm.
Peter felt that the farm property overall, the entire dairy farm, had been undervalued. They said this farm is worth about $660,000.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter thinks that's undervalued, and he should know because he is an appraiser.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah.
Appraiser.
Professional greedy pig.
And that his share should be closer to $400,000 for this property. He would know he's a professional. Professional suck my dick is what you are.
Yes.
Rick tried to make Peter see reason. He tried to get him to understand this land, this property, this farm. It has been in this family for 3 generations, and this isn't about money. It's about line of succession. Mm-hmm. Me and Jack and the other brother want to be able to give this to the next generation. This partnership agreement is not about money.
Yeah.
Peter is not hearing it.
Mm.
And Rick is like, dude, you were married to my sister. That doesn't mean you get to extort us.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't give a shit, obviously. Psycho.
No. Peter clutched, I can't believe you would say I'm trying to extort you for money. I just want to get fair market value. Like, the agreement says fair market, and I don't think you've had it appraised fairly. How could you?
Yeah. Clutch those pearls.
Oh, my God. How could you say such a thing?
Yeah.
My God. Rick, I need to get all the money I can off of this. Mm-hmm. I've lost your sister's earning potential for the next 13 to 15 years. I gotta get everything I can.
Yeah. You poor unfortunate soul.
Her earning potential?
I know, right?
15 years of earning potential is what you're mad at?
I know. It's so gross. It's like, dude, can you hear yourself? Oh.
Oh, Rick was livid.
No doubt.
If he could have reached through the phone and
Yeah.
clawed his eyes out and pulled his trachea out through his mouth, he would have.
Yeah. No doubt. Talking about his sister like she's a financial vehicle and
Yeah.
my investment is gone. I have to do whatever I can.
So Rick told Peter that he's a scumbag from hell and that he has spent his time as a free man. Just enjoy your time.
Yeah.
You're free now, sir.
Yeah.
You're free now, but I know you killed my sister. And any money that you get from us is a fucking gift because you should be in jail.
Yes. Yeah.
But in spite of the harsh words exchanged, Rick is a decent man and he offered a compromise. The Riella family would give Peter $275,000 to buy his share of Renette's property out. They didn't like it. It's not, but they took it. It's not right, but it's okay.
Strategically, it's the better idea.
Yeah, because it's more important to keep the property and the farm and the family, and do we really want to risk bankrupting ourselves?
Yeah.
Fighting with this guy?
Yeah, because he'll do it just for spite.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a little. I feel like I know he's not like a small guy, but he is like a mediocre guy from greatness, and so it's like a Napoleon complex.
Yeah.
He's got the man-sized Napoleon complex.
It's like whatever he feels he's lacking. I don't know if he feels he's lacking because he's an adoptee. Does he feel that he's lacking because he's not a political muckety muck like his dad? Like I don't know, but he definitely feels lacking.
Yeah. He is a bottomless hole of need.
A black hole of emotional need.
Yeah.
And yet, even as Peter is crying broke to the Riellas, he's living large.
Oh, no doubt.
April 1999, Peter got the $450,000 from the insurance, along with the $200,000 of the double indemnity for her death being in air quotes. Y'all can't see me using air quotes of the accident. And Peter started taking his own vacations.
Oh.
London, Hawaii, France. He bought a new car. Bought a new boat. And by May of 1999, Renette had been gone a year. And Peter was spending what the Riella family considered blood money.
Yes. Yeah.
So the Riella brothers went to court and filed a wrongful death suit.
Yay, good for them. Yes, get them.
And in that suit, they claimed Peter had deliberately caused the truck to go off the cliff, and that's what killed Renette.
Yes.
The Riella said the money wasn't the real motive behind the suit. It was more to get to the truth. They had at least 3 different versions of the story, and they just wanted to lock Peter into something on the record and get to the bottom of things.
Yeah. The cops must have been so delighted.
Oh, yeah. Now, I do have a theory about this crime. About how he did it. I think, and of course this is all conjecture, I can't prove anything.
Yeah.
I think Peter picked Renette up from the airport in Reno. I think she was exhausted.
Yes.
I think on the hour-long drive from Reno to Incline Village, she falls asleep. And while she's sleeping, Peter drives to this turnout, gets out of the car, and just lets it go over.
Yeah.
As it's moving. She's fast asleep. She probably doesn't know what hits her.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And then it goes end over end, and he hopes it explodes, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Because, I mean, and you can't really prove it one way or another, because Renette's, unfortunately, her body was so badly damaged by the accident, there was no one injury that was cause of death. Any of the injuries could have killed her.
Yes, true. I'm so glad it didn't explode, though.
Yeah, he can't have the things that he wants.
No. He's Wile E. Coyote. An idiot.
But that is what we're going to leave you for now on the story of Peter and Renette Bergna.
The Bergnas. Oh, Renette, you deserved better. Everyone deserves better than a Peter Bergna.
Oh my, you're so lonely. Why are people
I know. It's like, how have you gone through this much of life without being punched in the throat, like sharp, just once?
Girl. And on that note, I've been Samara.
And I've been Jeannie.
And this has been talk deadly to me.
Now,